have to watch it to get, because Sonic 3 also comes out this.
Oh
year.
right, I was gonna say we forgot we haven't talked down the podcast yet. Sonic 3 is happening. Jim Carrey's back.
Well, it's like
I don't know what that is without him, to be honest. He's carrying half that movie alone. Legitly super happy that he's coming back because I don't know.
Now the question is, does Shadow have a gun in that one? That's a
oh yeah, they're gonna give him all the guns and look, we're gonna kill that little girl. What's up, people? Welcome to our little traveling podcast shack we call Otaku, where we have the hottest takes in anime and video games. My name is Ray, and I'll be your host for this episode of our podcast. And today, it is a interesting lineup. It's
also cold.
It's also cold. This is true, Miles. Well, and it's the Me and Miles podcast. How you doing, Miles?
I'm frozen over here.
You're frozen? Should I thaw you out, brother?
Man, we have some weird weather the last couple of weeks. You know, it's cold, it's rainy, I'm freezing. You know,
rain in California? Insane! It's impossible.
I wouldn't say it's raining. I'm more like a monsoon.
It's let's just say I might have took a boat down to go to work this week, perhaps,
and then took it out to get back up. The real question.
The hard part now that the rain is gone, I got this boat. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it now.
Just put it on the price right. They'll
take it down to Long Beach or something, I guess. So Miles, what do we have today? It's the anime previews this week, and it's just you and me, brother. We're gonna have to.
Oh darn! It means one of us is going to win, then everyone else. Oh
yeah, there you go. Statistically, it's possible.
Stack the odds.
It's possible. So yes, it's just the two of us. Normally, there should be at least three of us here, since there's three of us that cover our anime previews for each season. But Ivan sadly was feeling under the weather, so. You and me, brother, are gonna have to pick up the slack, but I think we could do it, brother. We got this.
And poor Frank got washed.
Frank, he washed himself away when he declared he wanted to be out this season. So he took his own boat and injected out before the season. So, and besides, he has probably a lot of money on the line this weekend. We are recording.
A lot of people both with some weird bets out there.
I too, with my side, realized I too also have some bets coming this weekend. But it's one of those. When I go to Vegas, I take out cash and I walk in with the casinos. And I give myself an allowance every day, and I tell myself, and this is the mindset you have to have when you go to Vegas, in my opinion, this money I can afford to lose, and I'm just here to have some fun.
Or you bet again.
There you go, double or nothing. Put it all on black.
Keep going higher.
Statistically, never play roulette, kids. Let me tell you.
Go all in and then go double all in.
There you go. That's always healthy. Stick to the blackjack is what I would recommend if you're going to Las Vegas.
Or better yet, don't go at all.
That's the smartest play.
And play some gacha games like I do.
Well, I was just gonna say, stay away from Vegas and your gacha games.
But that rate, I could get this character for like it's 10% rate to get that character though. Just pull. Don't think about it.
But yes, so we do have our anime previews, and we have, of course, our daily weeks we've been watching and playing. We're going to talk about that, and a little bit of news, despite it's not as organized as it could be sometimes here on the podcast. But there is a couple things I think worth talking about.
Highlights, things like that, I guess.
Something that pop up that we have to get off our chests and let people out there know, in case who didn't know, be aware, since there is some anime and video game goodness out there this week on the podcast. But let's first open up and just start with our casual, normal weeks we've been watching and playing. So, Miles, I will pass it on to you, brother. What have you been watching and playing?
I guess to kick it off, I did play I think I finally finished WarioWare Get It Together.
The
Switch, the crappy Switch one, not the new one. The one that, you control like each character and you kind of they have different movesets and you kind of clearing mini games, but not clearing mini games.
What's the new one called?
Think it's like Move It? No.
Smooth Moves?
No, that's the Wii one. What is that? There's no can't
but this is the one where you actually move the actual character, like a Mario game, kind of play mini games.
It's a weird
versus controlling the.
It's a lot.
It's a lot
like you're playing Mario Party mini games.
Oh yeah, that's actually probably the better choice.
Mm-hmm. At the end of
no bueno, sir.
No, it's just weird because they want you to choose, because the mini games are okay, but the main factor is like you choose what play styles you want to play with. Like one guy will jump, one guy would you have to move around and then use a boomerang to finish mini games.
Huh.
It's just not. It's not WarioWare.
Well, I was gonna say it doesn't sound like it to me from what I remember. It's been a minute, but that's not what I remember.
That's why they made the new one. So that way it's more like, oh, you wanted this.
Because it has more like motion control stuff happening, right?
Yeah, the new one has. You use the Joy-Cons, you move around and actually do stuff
like the old Wii days.
Yeah, which makes sense. But I wish it came in that first in this one.
We would like to play.
No, it was. It's kind of. It was terrible enough that I went to play the old school advanced.
You can't go wrong with the first one. The first one's still probably the best one.
The only down the first one, like when I cleared, of course, pretty easily. The only problem with that game, I realized that after a while, like halfway through, it's like, okay, we ran out of games to play. So here's some Wario games, but it's like, but am I playing like Remix? Nah, it's fine. Am I playing like over here like more sci-fi genre? And then there's like Wario's mini games.
Okay. It took me a second. I see what you're saying.
You know, like there's like some games start repeating themselves after
right,
a while.
Right,
like,
that's true.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's one of those like we gotta remember that's the first game. It's like they're not. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? And it's just like I don't know what to do, but here's $10, make it happen. Yeah. And I think you got your $10 worth.
Yeah, so I finished that. No, those were pretty, I guess, unconventional. I guess the one big one this week was the Honkai Star Rail got 2.0 update. Actually, so we got
more waifus.
So we got a new land, Pinakoni. Yeah, Pinakoni. Yeah, I think that's a
interesting name.
You like Kingdom Hearts, don't you, right, guys? Like the idea of like sleeping, going to dreams, and
no, not Dream Job Distance.
Oh yeah, baby, we're.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that.
But it's also Vegas themed, sort of. Or I guess no, more like
how fitting.
I guess argue more BioShock. That's the best way to put it. Like
wait, what?
Because like there's like obviously the land of dreams. The whole everyone's happy, everything's fine.
So we're dreaming and gambling.
Yeah, but inside there's a darker presence.
I mean,
some things aren't.
So Las Vegas.
Yeah.
How fitting.
The high and low parts of Vegas.
How fitting for once again this weekend.
So it's like only part one because I guess each like how that works usually like 2.0 usually starts the world and then like the story concludes every like at 2.3 I guess whatever, which is like the end of the year. So you play a little story part and wait till next
to be continued.
Yeah,
there you go.
And man, boy, we
so did you already finished it?
Yeah, well, it's very short.
Oh, okay.
Because
how long is it?
If you did what I did, like me, like 2 hours.
What the fuck? What?
Because that's like
isn't this the big update?
Well, it's because with the new land, it's the beginning of the story, right? And like there's some tops and turns, and a lot of people are upset on the internet right now.
I would be because I've seen nothing. When I'm just cruising my YouTube, I've seen a lot of people getting promoted. And, check out the new 2.0 Honkai, something like, this is like a big update, but 2 hours.
Well, because there's also like it's a new land. You can do there's like little side quests you can do in it, right? But the story, man, like it's like you love Kingdom Hearts, don't you guys? What if we like that's the I'm trying to spoil it, but man,
Is there 13 guys sitting in these really big tall chairs?
No, but there's a lot of question. I mean, like you can't trust anybody what anyone says.
There you go. And don't believe his lies.
I know. And then there's then they introduce a character and then they pull our heartstrings at the same time at the same character. And man,
are they the heart? Wait, what was she? Was she a heart? No, she was the nobody of her. That's how that worked, right? Kingdom Hearts.
Which one is it?
What Roxas's interests? Whatever. Yeah, Shion.
Yeah, Shion.
That's how that worked, right? Slightly spoilers for a 25-year-old game.
Yes, 25-year-old. Yeah, man.
Sora.
I said there's some Kingdom Hearts bullshit going on.
I love there's always because Kingdom Hearts is just anime bullshit, to be honest. And because it's just Nomura.
And I guess it's funny because usually like you use like new characters you could pull for, I guess, things like that.
Well, of course.
But but they had like trailers and like, oh, you could do this move, this like like yeah, you want to pull.
Well, how hot are they, Miles?
But
how hot are they?
But man, this story though, you go like, I don't want to pull for any of these characters, man.
Not hot enough.
No, it's like story like their lore, I guess, or story wise. Like I don't like this guy.
But it doesn't matter. Are they sizzling? Tall redheads for Frank at least.
No, I know most like this time around because there's like I guess a fortune teller or like a memory keeper, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Oh no, was her name? What was her name? Namine?
No, but
why do I remember all these stupid things from Kingdom Hearts? Now I think about it.
What's it? Oh, Black Swan. I think that's her name. Yeah.
I saw that movie. Good movie.
Then
I liked it when it was called Perfect Blue. Oh, got him.
Oh, there you go. I got it. But like I said, overall the new world's kind of nice. It's a little different from the last one. The last one's more like Chinese themed, I guess. But overall, there are other things to do around to do and there's I forgot there's even a Mickey in here. I forgot.
Oh boy.
Or I'm sorry, Clocky. My bad.
Clocky.
It's a. But
does he look like the copyright free Mickey Mouse?
But someone saw that Mickey Mouse and like, oh boy, oh man, I'm gonna help my world. I'm gonna save my friend. Like, oh boy,
is it like old cartoony, like Felix the Cat kind of shit?
Yeah. And I said even the animates because he animates like in 2D, so it's even like weirder.
Then I was gonna say, is he? Oh god, they're doing like the Spider-Man thing where he's like framed at a different rate.
Yes, and like he's slightly a little slow, and he's still technically 3D, but like he is like slower.
But like, where did there was something I saw where they did that same technique that they did in the Spider-Man movie, where one character's at a different frame rate versus
there's that Death Stranding trailer when
that's what it was. That's what it was.
When it had like this weird
character he's at a different frame rate. They're doing this once again, the Spider-Man technique from the animated movies.
That goofy trailer, man. That thing.
Oh god. Wherever Kingdom Hearts, and of course Kojima's right behind it. Welcome to the rabbit hole we end up in here.
I can't wait for you and Andy to come in and go like, so guys.
Me and Andy are quite the Kojima fans. Sadly, questionably, but still are. Though I don't know.
But think of the road.
We'll save it for the news.
Think of the road, Ray. Think of the road to build.
It's the Southern California me. I gotta build that highway. It's the Roger Rabbit in me. Roads that could. What was Doc Brown tell you? Sells you on it before he melts in the puddle there.
Did
he sound something like this?
Man, that movie, man.
That movie is. I saw that movie. Sweet. That movie's still great, but also fucking terrifying.
That is not for kids.
That movie's still still with the idea of 2D, 3D, live action cut into it. It's like,
but that movie is not for kids.
It's a little bit. Though still my favorite sequence, no shocker, is the Daffy Duck, Donald Duck sequence. It's like, it's so good. Because literally they have the penguins from Mary Poppins, and they have, and if you see behind the scenes, like it's actually people just down like this big elaborate stage moving the trays. Like, god damn, like that shit. Everything now is just green screen. Just green screen will be fine. Back in the day.
So then we got our canes here. Back in the day.
Yeah, she kids back in
it's
the
called practical
early
effects.
90s,
practical effects.
Late 80s. We used to do these things, and now everything's just green and blue.
All I know is that dreams are weird, bro. Dreams are weird. Some things are real. Some things are not.
God, I don't want dream auditions.
And also do the Inception kind of thing, so you could dream inside a dream. And dream.
You just have that soundboard. I gotta put them back on.
And like dreaming further in, it's like, how many levels of dream can you go in here? That's a real question to ask. Stay. I'm trying. Anything else? Oh well. The only thing is I also watched the side to our stuff animes of the week.
Ooh, extra homework, extra credit.
I watched Bofuri. I want to max out the defense.
Oh,
I won't get hurt. I only saw season 1 though.
I'll see. Okay, I did dabble in that because that was maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Well, it is a light novel, so there's a lot of
better writing
in here.
You can. What is it with light novel adaptations of anime? Like you can just this is a line novel because just the writing is better versus the typical power fantasy, which is like, ooh, yikes, a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess best off. So we have our main character is Kaide or Maple because that's her name in the
that's her her username.
Yeah. She starts playing this MMO or VR MMO, I guess, because her friend was like, "Oh, come on, get in, man, get in. You want to get in?"
All the cool kids are playing this.
No matter what, but I just like the fact that because we've always been. I was like, man, VR MMO's like a thing. Everyone
It's not a thing yet here.
I say I'm like, you know what?
Well,
this is cool, bro.
Apparently in that universe they don't have SAO to be like, maybe I shouldn't plug my brain into the Matrix.
But it's like, but I guess she's still, but she can't take it off. It's
not a death game scenario. It's just, hey, because I did dabble a little bit in that, and they spend most of the time because it reminds me of the more current, was it Frontier?
Shangri-La Frontier.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's very much so. She goes in, And but no, she's like, I don't want to get hurt at all. So she maxed all her stats into defense
because she's like a brand new gamer also.
Yeah. So it's like I was put in defense.
It's just that very simple logic. Well, I don't want to get hurt, so dump all my points into defense.
And the way this girl plays pretty much breaks the game,
which I thought was the most interesting thing about it too.
Because like she'll get like different like I guess like depends on how you defeat enemies, things like that in this game. You get certain skills, and you max those skills out to this skill, and this converts to this skill,
just like any video game.
And it's like she just has these ridiculous amount of skills. Like normally, no one will get these amount of skills unless you play the way she does.
Right.
And the
devs had to patch the game, right?
The devs are going to like, this girl's like freaking disgusting.
Like no one. That's like the cool. I thought that was the cool thing. Is just like no logical person would play the game like this, and yet she does it, and so much so she breaks the fucking game that they have to like do constant updates to try to make it more balanced.
The best part she got an ability with Devour, which she could eat all her enemies.
Oh right, yeah.
But it had no unlimited use.
Right.
So every time just go into my shield. Just go to my shield. And then the next episode they went and say, okay, no, You need to stop this shit right now. We're not going to do this.
Which I love because most shows they would just let her keep doing that the rest of the series to make her OP as fuck, right? But the story goes no, that's that, but it's so more realistic and natural because that's what the live service game these days.
And the best part, like all her friends are broken this certain way too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like so, her best friend who goes in the game, she pretty much she's like, I just invade.
Right, she's just like speed and strength, right?
Yeah, just I'll attack. They can't hit me. They can't hit me.
She watched Jungle Frontier.
And it's like, it was like, she's a glass, I guess we call it brick house. I don't even know.
What was
Where's Frank? We need Frank over here.
Glass cannon.
So she's a glass cannon. Maple's pretty much is just, I guess, like
just a bulk.
Just
an armored knight walking up in Fire Emblem. She's just walking up, big old knight. Great knight, I think is the word. No, wait, no. Armored knight? I think it's armored knight.
Her other friends, like these two little girls, they pretty much, they put on their stats into attack, so they have no defense in that, but they could could do one hit kills.
Akuma fans rejoice.
One guy pretty much the shield and like kind of like Maple does, but no, he does more attack and defend too.
I never got that far into it.
Like I said, because they're like pretty much they go through different events and they all like like stuff like kill you but with a smile.
There you go.
And the best little character all is Maple's little like buddy, was like a little turtle.
That's like it's a turtle, right? Live fans rejoice.
This turtle gets big, and he goes kami. But the best part, he could also like use vine whips.
Kami house.
Like he could vine whip you, and then he could shock. And
vine whip, Bulbasaur.
Yeah, like she does not. This girl can break. Like this girl's not playing.
This girl's playing another game.
Yeah, she's like, doing that. And she gets these weird skills, like doing little side quests. Like, oh, no one does this. So, and also one of the things. Also, can anyone else do a side quest? No, she just bumbles into it. Oh look, I got this.
Of course,
I got this new skill out of here. Like,
gotta have a little bit of anime shenanigans.
Yeah, well, it was animated pretty well.
I remember that.
No, and I said the fact that it's a light novel, you can feel in the paint, like way how they tell the story and things like that. All the characters stuff, they all fit in.
Someone actually more natural, actually knows what the fuck they're talking about.
And I said maybe it may take like a couple episodes here and there to do certain things, but it has a good pace. You're not going to like. There's some other enemies we're going to get to later on that's
perhaps
some issues there.
Well,
I had pretty fun, and I can't wait for season 2 because I know there's.
So pretty much thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
I need to go back.
I did buy the light novel to check it out.
Oh, there you go. Well, of course. Nerd of nerds.
Read the manga. Who does that?
Have you read the manga?
I read the light novel.
I was born in the manga.
I go even further beyond. Go
further. You play the song afterwards. Oh my goodness gracious! What a nerd.
Yeah, I know that was a blast.
All right, I need to go. That was one of the shows I dabbled in. And I went like, this is a good show, but I just forgot about it. The best scene
was the little turtle, like when he gets big and he floats in the air, and it's like she's on the turtle, and she's just like, oh look, there's a bunch of XP I could get right there. The lightning bolts and destroys all of them right then
from a distance. That's pretty fucked up.
It's like the little turtle's like flies in the air. It's just like everyone's like, oh wow, she's too OP. The devs going, fuck, this girl's too OP.
That is like the funny that the girl's like just constantly breaking the game because she's thinking in a weird perspective that none of the programmers are thinking about.
And the programmer's like, oh, this is going on. No, girl, we gotta pay attention to this girl.
This girl's breaking our game.
This girl's breaking this game over here.
Which is a real, like I said, it's a real thing that they do in live service games. That because like Breath of the Wild, for example, right?
Yeah.
Not a live service game, but the idea of like there was that glitch to duplicate items, right? And they're like, whoa, you know, and Jim's like, oh no, we gotta fix it, right? But of course, guess what? All the nerds are sitting down figuring out, oh, but there's another way to do it, and there's another, you know, it's a game, but you know, it's it's old as time.
It's a fight, us and the devs.
That's what it is. Is who's gonna give our time or their money? It's a race between gamers' time and corporations' money, and eventually at some point they're gonna run out of money. But our time is unlimited, baby. We're gonna crack that code.
I will find a way to duplicate this.
And that's where the speedrunners
I do not want to grind. I do not want to grind.
Exactly. So it's fun and interesting. But yeah, I did think that was a very cool thing about the Bofuri series, the little I dabbled into it. And I guess I'm going to go back to it. You convinced me, Miles. I'm going to go back to it.
Yeah, but, you know, with that, I conclude my turn.
Alrighty, Miles. So it sounds like it's my turn at the pass here on Otaku. Let's see here. I'll start off with the easy one since I mentioned it last time on the podcast. So we're we're getting closer and closer. TikTok, I hear the clock ticking. Speaking about anime bullshit, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out very close in here, we're going to cover here on the podcast. So if you're a fan of,
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of this. It's going to be me, Miles, of course, Frank, our JRPG professor, I guess, on the podcast,
our specialist.
Yes, the master of masters of JRPGs.
The glass cannon.
And hopefully we'll have a special fourth chair who will be dedicated, and I won't say just yet. Stay tuned if you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII and JRPGs, because our council of experts, I think we have the crew to cover to do the best job of covering our Final Fantasy VII coverage. So because of that's happening soon, I am going back-ish and playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because I did technically start it when it came out, but I never get very far into it, so now I'm actually going to finish it. And I know, Miles, you are not familiar with Final Fantasy VII, correct?
I know certain different people I know from osmosis, but that's it.
Okay. So without getting into too many details, because I know you're planning to dive into this in time for the sequel, correct?
Yeah.
I will not give
I will soon get out of Midgar.
Yeah. That's all I know. That's all I know is the whole first game is in Midgar, which, if you're an OG Final Fantasy VII, sounds insane. Which it is still a little bit insane.
No, Cloud. Let's
hang out here a little bit longer and let's do some side quests while we're here at Cloud. And that's what they do in the remake, which is fine, but it is very, like I said, if you know, it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But if you're brand new to it, you don't know how the original game goes. I mean, that game is what, 1997, right?
The good old the places on the map.
Yes, it sure did for me at least. And a lot of people, honestly. So if you have the context of that, it's a little jarring, which is definitely a thought when I thought about that. But overall, I don't think it was a hindrance to like expanding on like hanging on this sector and doing little side quests with Aeris or doing side quests with Tifa, this and that. It is interesting, and the more I thought about it, it's like, oh, this, and of course it is. It sure is Kingdom Hearts with its gameplay, since it's
what
exactly real time. And, you know, Nomura's he's like the creative director, I believe, whatever that means these days.
So everyone has more belts?
Yeah, more buckles and belts for everyone. And I believe the key gameplay mechanic is a guy who did work on the Kingdom Hearts series as well.
Oh, so, there you go. That makes sense.
I've slowly realized that, like, oh, this is just Kingdom Hearts. And I've gotten more accustomed to it in my recent playthrough in the last week or so. Thinking it's more Kingdom Hearts versus traditional 7, if you will.
Yeah.
So I got more used to it. I'm using the materia. I'm trying to shuffle characters more often because early on I just kept playing Cloud all the time, which was great for Cloud, but everyone else just kept dying off screen when I wasn't personally controlling them via Mass Effect 2, assuming control. But yes, I'm trying to more balance out the team with Tifa and Aerith, or Aeris if you want to be old school. Stuff like that. And I'm getting towards, I would say at least there's probably like one more big story arc to go on that happens in Midgard, at least in the original story that's left for me. But I'm like just about to start that. I'm at the climax of the penultimate arc, I guess. That's where I left off on.
You know, we'll soon get out. Well, there's a door out here.
Yeah, I think we're going to soon get on our Great Escape because the big tragedy that occurs in Midgard, I'm pretty much getting at. But I don't know what happens because there are little things, without getting into, once again, too many spoilers, there are little things that hint at there's something more going on here in this game than meets the eye.
Okay, so it's more kind of like, you know some of the events, but it may not come the way you think it is?
Kind of. Like I said, there's a little bit more happening than meets the eye. It's the best way to say it without getting to details. And there it is. Roll out. But yes, so a very good experience. It took me a little bit to get into it, but I'm, like every JRPG. And when the 30th hour hits, that's when it gets really good, right?
Yeah, that's when I got the good stuff now.
But for those who do know, without trying to figure, what can I say for people who are familiar with the series to say it without spoiling miles? I've done the Don Coolio. There's this character in the whole sequence that happens there, which is pretty popular and kind of famous in that section
I don't know why
of the game.
Coolio for a hot second.
Not Coolio. It's like Don Corleo. Maybe it's Corleo. It's like a play on the Godfather. And I think about
Don
it.
Quixote.
Yeah, a little bit that too. But there's a whole sequence which is very funny and cute in anime.
Funny, cute anime. There's
it's like I said, I don't want to spoil you, Miles. But those who know, it holds up in the remake. They did a good job with that, so that was very cool to see that they kept that in and refreshed it and added on to it. And that's what it is. It feels like someone went back to 7 and said, like, what can we do in this area and pad it up a little bit? Because between that area and the area after that, they really kind of, like I said, padded up a little bit, made it a little bit more interesting and stretched the time at the same time.
Give you
in an overall good way.
Like context of characters, things like that now?
Not so much a little bit of characters, but more just the area, the environment, the people who inhabit Midgar, right? It makes them a little bit more attached to the characters that are kind of faceless, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Just because the event that I'm at is pretty big and major. Yeah. So you have, by spending more time with these characters in this area, you have a little bit more emotional attachment to them, right? Which, oh, yikes, perhaps, what's about to happen. But yes, no shocker, Final 7 Remake is very good.
What?
And I still have my DLC I have to play through before we get to Rebirth.
Yeah, to get Interlude, right? Or is that...
Yes, which is also very different to my understanding of... Because you don't bump into Luffy until after you live Midgard in the original game.
See, and that's what...
But she's in Midgard?
I just trying to think about Kingdom Hearts. See, Kingdom Hearts, they're all here already.
Yes. What's the... From 8, what do they call them? Leo? Is that what they call them? Leo?
Yeah, it's been a while, huh?
Not Squall.
Yeah, not Squall.
Because I think Luffy makes that joke. Wait, what are you talking about, Squall? But yes, moving on. Final Fantasy talk this week. What else? I did start up the Great Ace Attorney, the Great Chronicles, something Ace Attorney and Chronicles. Great Detective.
The prequel one.
The prequel series that I started last year, and I talked about here on the podcast. If you guys go back to you could check my thoughts on the first game.
You went to game number 2, I'm assuming.
So yes, I have moved on to number 2 after I realized, like, I need to go back and finish that because the remake of the third half of the original series with the Apollo Justice trilogy, just skip 5 when they try to kill him, basically, is out, and I'm tempted to go and play that through again. It's been a minute. But I figured, I gotta finish my appetizer before I get to my entree, and that is the second game of the Chronicles series. Since as I mentioned on the podcast, after being the first game, it does kind of leave on a cliffhanger and being like, fine, play the second game to get the real ending, basically.
Yeah.
But early on, the first case I'm on the second game is a different story and a focus on, not completely different in focus, but not the main plot point, that the cliffhanger that left off in the first game. And it takes its time very slowly to build your way up back to like, so this is your first time playing Ace Attorney.
We're doing this again, huh?
Which is a little jarring because like this is like at least the like 6th to 8th game in the franchise.
How come really doesn't know what to do when they brought that series back, did they?
They were very paranoid to me I would never start a series like that's like 10 entries into it and start with that one. But the way this first case, they treat it like, so you need to present evidence in the courtroom. And so much so that it tricked me because I'm like, I knew what the problem was and I knew what the contradiction was and I knew what to do. But the game said, oh no, you can't examine that evidence yet. And I was like confused because I'm like clicking every button. I'm like, why can't I examine this evidence? Because I know this evidence, there's something wrong with this evidence.
I have the smoking gun. Why can't I use a gun in court? I'm sorry. It's like Morgana. I'm sorry, you can't use that.
Honestly. Yeah, aren't you a little too tired to use that evidence in court? No, basically, Morgana showed up. This is not the Royal Edition. So yeah, and it drove me insane because I was like, I know what to do. But of course, the game treats you like it's your first time playing it, so you have to go through the steps and do these little things, and then it'll give you the prompt to then present and look at evidence.
If you click X, that's you unlock the evidence. Yes, I know.
It was just I just thought it was very silly considering
and it's very weird.
It's very late into the franchise.
It's very weird because isn't that what the first game is? So I should know how this game works.
Even more so in this collection in these two games. But you better believe Capcom just slapped these two games together and just translated and called it a day, right?
Yeah.
And because I know originally they were released separately, I think for the 3DS, I think.
Oh, you guys want this?
Sure. Yeah, and we had to wait another almost a decade later to finally get this one. I guess till Sherlock Holmes became open domain ? Maybe is the reason, and plus the sales of Ace Attorney in general. Hopefully the Apollo Creed.
Whoops.
Pour one out for Apollo Creed, by the way. That does bum me out a little bit. Yes, the Apollo Justice series, Ace Attorney in general, very good stuff. So hopefully I'll get to that soon after beating this in the near future. And then I feel like there was something.
So are you still in London, right?
Well, the first case you're back in Japan.
Yeah, because I feel like the more you tell me the game last time,
most of it is in London.
So it's like, then what do we do?
It's I
didn't know was it Murder Girl Death Farce?
Yeah, a little bit. Now that you mention it,
we don't go to Japan because that's just weird.
Yeah, so I think about it. It definitely does have some vibe because Sherlock Holmes will just basically show up.
And that's not because they have a 100% conviction rate, whatever ridiculous.
Yeah, well, yes, the Court of Law in Japan.
I also played
That was something I did not realize when I started Ace Attorney until probably the fifth game. I was like, oh, that's a thing in Japan. Like, holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, because in Judgment or Judge Eyes, you want to be the real cool guys.
Oh, there you go.
That was like, yeah, man, no, we always win. We always win.
It's like, isn't 90 something percent?
99.7% rate. We always win. It's like, well. Okay, unless you do other things.
That's a little concerning.
Unless you do certain other crimes, which, slap on the wrist. But,
that's another episode of Otaku, but no one is perfect. Let's get that straight. Not just directly towards just Japan only. We love Japan. But guess what? They have problems just like here in America. We also have our own problems.
Yeah.
And they're worth talking about, and hopefully we can improve and make things better for everyone involved in this little thing we call society.
But, it's like, man... You don't do crimes in Japan. You don't want to do crimes in Japan.
You don't want to do crimes in Japan. So yes, I am slowly working on my way through the Chronicles of Ace Attorney. And I guess the last thing of note I'll mention here, though it's slightly different, but every so often here on Taku we shift.
Okay, ooh, here we go.
Shift a little, expand our horizons.
Okay, here we go. Here's a very moment of the sunshine here.
I turned out, I'm like, I need a new show. I got something to watch. That is an anime. There's always anime to watch. And of course we have our Netflix subscription, so it's like what's hot or what basically I went back to the old catalog. What's the backlist on my Netflix stuff? And I sat down and
One Piece.
I'm still doing there's the one. I guess I could talk about One Piece this week. Or
you could do a speed run, watch the OVAs we talked about last time.
Well, yeah, those speed run. I don't know what those.
And speed run real quick.
I'm not a fan of compilation films. This is true. I don't know if you know about this show, Miles, but I started watching the show called Ozark.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen images of it.
So yeah, this is basically Netflix's Breaking Bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it starts. I don't know why I want to say Jason Statham, but it's not Jason Statham.
No.
That's a very different person.
That's a very different person. Yeah,
that's a very different person.
I think the other
Jason. I think it's Bateman.
Yeah, because
the Arrested Development guy.
Yeah,
is for those who are familiar with the TV show and actor. He is the main star of the show, and in this show, similar to Breaking Bad, he is an accountant who basically washes money for for drug lords in Mexico, basically.
Oh, okay.
And in the first episode, slightly spoilers, but it's the first episode, so I feel it's to talk about.
He has cancer.
No, that's not yet. Well, that's season 3, I think. Maybe I haven't gotten that far. I don't know. But the problem is in the first episode of season 1, his business partners get caught from stealing from a said
cartel.
I was gonna say mafia, but cartel, I guess, is the accurate
thing. Give me a little bit from.
And so guess what? They all get whacked because no one you can't steal from these kind of people. But luckily, our main protagonist is smart enough and knows how to wiggle and talk his way out of the situation and buys himself time. Because technically he had nothing to do with them stealing from the top.
Yeah. Because he's the middleman, right?
He didn't know that they were stealing from said cartel.
Guy who played that car wash.
Right. And he turns on is the cartel guy knows this guy, he's smart, right? And basically talks his way to saying like, hey, give me a second chance. I know there's a lot of money to be made and laundered here in the Ozarks, which is a part in Missouri, which is right off the waterfront.
Title drop.
Ozark?
Yeah, because
we did. You got him, folks. We got him. Yeah, end credits. But yes. And so he sweet talks his way to this guy to convince him, like, give me a chance. I can make you more money and this and that if I move down here. And he goes, all right, I'll give you a second chance. You got like 3 months and you got to wash, I think it's like $8 million in 3 months. And so he has to, and this guy's married. He's got kids. Apparently his wife has been cheating on him. He recently found out. So
so Breaking Bad. Yeah.
There's a lot of drama going on in here for sure. And they moved to the Ozarks. It's a whole new, because they're from the Chicago area. It's a whole new world to them. Kind of living down here in the South and the boonies versus the big bustling progressive city that is Chicago.
Yeah.
And so it's this whole thing, and he has to like, I have to, get this money and start buying businesses and figure out how to wash this money in time. If not, me and my family's gonna die. It's this big drama, and it's like, season like 3 or 4 of Breaking Bad when he meets Gus. For those who are familiar with Breaking Bad, it's basically what if that was the beginning of this show.
So if I finds a gumbo shop or something like that, I was thinking like the Gumbo Brothers or something like that.
I see. Okay, I see what you did there, bro.
Clearly not him. But we got the money that's going in there. Gumbo's pretty good on there, right?
The kids love it. The kids get it. The kids understand, Miles. They see your reference. But yes, he definitely, like I said, diversifies his portfolio. And it's a nail biter. It's a thriller. Is he gonna make it in time? Does he have enough money? Can he convince these people? And when he gets down there, there's other people who are participating in illegal activities that he might ruffle their feathers.
But like, I guess my only curiosity is that his character, is he kind of like Walter in this way? It's like, we all know he's really a bad guy at the end of the day, or he's a guy like kind of skirts the line between. He's more
good
like
and bad.
He's like
is he Breaking Bad,
or he's like more like Saul, kind of like going back and forth and like not really.
I see what you're saying. He's probably more like Saul.
Yeah.
Where he is definitely skirting the line of legal and non-legal.
Yeah.
But is definitely doing everything in his power, technically legally speaking, but like morally fucking corrupt as fucked.
Yeah.
He is a little bit more of that towards Walter White, if that's the comparison, if I have to choose between A and or B.
Yeah, because clearly, at the end of like certain events, like, oh, this guy.
And that's what, yes. In the later seasons of Breaking Bad, Walter White breaks that literally just the show intends, and
you're goddamn right.
And exactly. And that's where we're at. And yeah, because I think there's like 4 seasons of the show.
Oh, okay.
That maybe he might get closer and closer to that.
Is he finished, or is it finished, or is it still going?
To my understanding, I think it's finished. I don't know 100%, but I did, because on down Netflix, if you scroll down, it says like Ozark Collection. I'm like, wait, collection is like, is there a prequel? Like, is this Better Call Saul? Like, what's going on here, right? And the other option was Farewell to Ozark. So I'm assuming it's like a behind the scenes kind of documentary through the years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming if that exists, then the story must concluded. So here's the thing. It starts off good. Where we're at in season 1, it's a lot. A lot
like you, the viewer, buying what's going on.
Yes, that's the problem. Because I can't help. It's hard to not make the comparison to Breaking Bad because it's very similar with its vibes and tones.
Or more like The Wire, kind of like a lot of like stringer bell nonsense.
Not that bad. Not that bad in later seasons of The Wire. It's more like I said, the problem is like they want to cheat and they want to jump to like season like 3 and or 4 of Breaking Bad, but they haven't done season 1 yet.
Oh, what was like some animes are also the season.
Yeah, so some of the pacing and
the Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, got
it. A little bit, not that bad, but kind of close. Because like I said, sadly, for better for worse, there's too many crazy things happening to make the drama happen.
Okay, like a lot.
It feels forced.
Like a lot of things, like somehow breaks this way, or somehow chicken's out of the coop or something, right? Like,
yes.
A lot of like things that throw out this belief, like, okay, yeah, sure.
It's just too much to swallow in season 1.
Yeah.
If we get to season 2 and 3, you could have told yourself, well, enough has accumulated and bottled up, and other people are going to come into play, and the plot thickens and thickens, just like in Breaking Bad, right? And most good storytelling, in my opinion, we work our way to climb up the ladder. But I feel like I said, they're trying to shortcut their way and get to like step 7 when we're still at step 1. And I feel like it's just unnecessary. Let's keep the plot simple, have a little bit of drama, this and that. But there's a lots of drama and a lot of angles. Because of course there's like the federal agent angle that it's like, oh, they're like, they know there's something's up and they're trying to close in on him. And the federal agent's like kind of like fucking insane, honestly, to be honest. It's for those who are familiar with Boardwalk Empire, which I feel like no one talks about, by the way. Very good show.
Yeah.
There's a similar character early on who has that kind of persona where like they're technically a federal agent, but like super like scummy and not very good at all. But like imagine that character who's also crazy in that show. Imagine like 3 times as worse, and that's the guy we have in this show.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's way too early on to introduce this kind of character into the series because it should just be focused on. I want to keep calling him Michael because of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
But the Jason Bateman's character, I feel like we just need to focus him and his family and his trauma of with him dealing with the wife, with the divorce, and his kids. His kids are going through a tough time because they got yanked out of their environment.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it follows their. I'm assuming also like how like it also follows their family, how they dealing with said change because it's a big change.
Yes, they literally got up and left. Literally, like because the mafia guy's like, you got to get up and get out of town in 24 hours. I'm gonna fucking kill you and your family, right?
Yeah,
and that's the literally we have to drop everything. Like what if your house got burned down? Your house is on fire. You got like 30 seconds. What are you gonna grab, basically, right?
Yeah,
it's like that kind of equivalent. So I don't know. Like it's interesting. The acting's good. The story writing and storytelling is pretty decent, though they like their like
motifs.
Yeah, they're like their motifs of like we're gonna play the ending of the episode in the very beginning, and then we're gonna work our way through the episode, and then you get to the ending and explain it.
Yeah.
The problem is they reuse that technique too many times already in season 1. They rely on it. Like, it's a cool idea, but when you keep going back to that same idea all the time...
we always go back to Breaking Bad. They do that maybe 1 to 2 times. We did that, but you don't do it one time. You don't do it every single episode.
And that's the problem. The first half of season 1, they do that every time. Until the later episodes of season 1, and I think it's 10 episodes a season, they finally kind of try to break it up.
And these like an hour ones, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's like 40 hour long. It's a Netflix, right? So there's no exact time frame, but between 40 minutes, an hour long each episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna finish season 1 and then I'll think about it from there. But it's on the board. It depends. I think I'm on the last episode of season 1.
Check the guy's head. Is it cutting his head? The bad guy? That's the real.
Yeah, that's how you know he's the bad guy. All right, after that long-winded talk of me and my apparently Netflix and Amazon TV show binge here, stretching out the Otaku parameters this episode of the week, but it's just 2 of us, Miles, so I guess I feel like I got to make it up.
Wow, we're trying to go the sprint run, and we went through a lot.
We went through a lot
this week.
You're right, Miles, but luckily we still have a lot of anime talk. We have our previews coming up.
Yeah.
I think quickly we're going to tackle some news, some headlines we saw this week that we wish to talk about here on the podcast. So, Miles, I will pass the baton back to you. What do you want to talk about that you saw in the news, brother?
Let's see. There was data play a while ago, or was that? No,
I don't. Time means nothing anymore.
There were some interesting tidbits there. I think you can play Foam Stars now with the free. Because it's like
out of all the things to pick up the state of play, your choice is the Splatoon knockoff.
I'm kind of with knockoff.
Really? Have you played Splatoon 3, brother?
I do like the fact that it's free. That's the reason why.
You bought Splatoon 3.
Yes, but don't you want to know, Ray? Don't you want to know?
No, I'd just rather play Splatoon.
Let's see. Oh, there's also the Marvel Spider-Man, or what do you call it? Like that's like the Insomniac one, Marvel Spider-Man.
Was that in the state of play?
Or maybe that was an announcement from later the week.
That was an announcement from like the end of last year.
Time
you're talking about the DLC and New Game Plus modes? Yeah, I don't think that was in there, but technically that's happening, which apparently good timing for me because I need to get to that.
And then also the Final Fantasy 7 one that I have only seen glimpses of the Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Crazy, man.
Shenanigans.
It is funny of how much. Well, you can't get into spoilers because Miles here isn't too familiar with the 7 lore, I guess. But In a weird way, maybe it makes sense the way they designed the remake and this rebirth game, perhaps, because it's quite ambitious and cool from what the little I seen of it. But also, too, have trying to stay away from all big potential spoilers, since I said earlier on there might be something more happening here, but we'll find out maybe in this game. Supposedly, the ending of this game is crazy. Supposedly, according to Nomura himself.
So the light and darkness. Hold on, light and darkness.
And then Mickey Mouse shows up.
Let's see. Oh, I know the Spy Family movie. It comes out, and I think over here
we finally got a date
on April 19th.
There you go. Not too bad. It's only about a 4-ish months wait. Not bad for us Americans.
So I could actually watch. Yes, we could actually talk about this year.
Yes, and we still have our Spy Family episode spoiler hopefully coming up soon if everything works out with our fellow co-hosts.
Yeah, that's also on the docket as well.
That is officially on the board. No, Shadow Love? Where's my Shadow Love?
You want to talk about the Shadow Love? I mean, that's a problem I have to say because everything's like, okay, cool, and then well,
Sega. What can we do that'll make us money that'll cost us the least amount? Yes, we do have the Konami playbook in front of us. How did you know?
It's like, so yeah, there's Sonic and Shadow Generations.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good game. I like Generations.
Which is like, it's like a remastered of Sonic Generations.
Plus some Shadow.
But man, I wish we could get like new levels or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, technically, the Shadow stuff is new. I mean, there's 1 or 2 new levels for Shadow.
Yeah, but I mean, we could go back.
He's gonna get his AK again, Miles. Come on.
Don't you want to see other levels from like Sonic get remade, like between classics?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to it, but they're not fucking. It's not Sonic Generations 2 now, is it?
Yeah. No, they're like, no, there's no money in that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird because they kind of already did that idea, right?
So,
I mean, there's still the 3DS version, which technically does bring new levels from the Generations. The idea.
That's the question. Would they add those into here? That's no Mushroom Zone. No?
Like I said, what's that? More money? No. Here's $10. Make it happen. Here's $10. That's your budget.
Do Sampopolis or
Sampopolis?
Yeah, from Sonic and Knuckles, the sand level.
I thought
the really creepy one is like the ghost comes out, like
don't mess with that fucking ghost. It's a bad ghost right there.
Yeah, and it gets bigger, like slowly over time.
Either way, I'm as a Sonic fan, shocked for those who first time tune in the podcast. Yes, I am excited for the Sonic Generations, whatever Shadow crossover DLC nonsense they want to slap on there. Whatever, it's just Sonic. I'm gonna buy it no matter what. So that's all I know.
I guess I'm wondering if there's a Shadow. Would there be a classic Shadow? Be a real question.
Classic Shadow?
Because there's Sonic, there's modern Sonic, classic Sonic.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No.
I mean, no, because Shadow doesn't show up until 2001, which was the 10-year anniversary of Sonic 1. So, in theory, that is old Shadow is new Shadow, or current Shadow. And what was the last time they even did Shadow in a thing in a video game for, fucking 06?
Was it Sonic Forces?
Was he in Forces?
Or no, I'm thinking, I'm gonna way back more. What was that fighting one on the GBA?
Battle? It's something very generic.
Yeah, but he was in that one. That was weird.
Yeah, but that's not a man. That's for Christ's sake, it's on the GBA.
And like for a man who's for
a hedgehog that's supposedly dead like 3 times over.
He's alive pretty well.
I get confused, and that's when I started zoning out. So yes, the Shadow lore gets nonsensical, but whatever. I remember everyone's favorite.
Does he have a
lord.
gun? The question to ask.
And are we gonna and also rejoice? And that's like it's double. This really is. And speaking about Sonic news, did you see the Knuckles thing there, Miles?
Oh yeah, the Knuckles show, which also you need to watch before the third one now.
So we did it, Miles. Sonic 3 and Knuckles confirmed.
There you go.
We did it. Sonic fans rejoice.
Yeah, I think that starts
the 90s all over again, baby.
I think it starts also in April-ish,
I think, yeah, it's like spring, early summer on Paramount Plus, my favorite subscription service.
The thing is that you have to, if you want to, you have to watch it to get, because Sonic 3 also comes out this year.
Right, I was gonna say we forgot, we haven't talked down the podcast yet. Sonic 3 is happening, and Jim Carrey's back.
Well, it's like
I don't know what that is without him, to be honest. He's carrying half that movie alone. Between him and the Sonic, I don't know who we need all the 90s lovers we can get to make this thing happen and make it as good as it possibly can. So legitly super happy that he's coming back because like I said, I don't know.
Now the question is, does Shadow have a gun in that one? That's a real question.
Yeah, they're gonna give him all the guns, and look, we're gonna kill that little girl.
yeah, it's like she is so just do it.
Off she goes.
It's for the plot. It's for the plot.
It's for the good for everyone. Everyone cheers for little girl's death.
Don't worry, it'll motivate him to later on. Oh, okay.
This will get him to just destroy the whole planet, perhaps.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, spoilers for another 20-plus-year-old. I don't want to talk about it.
The question is, do we have a Metal Harbor-ish scene? That's a real question to ask.
There you go.
And you have, is Jun Sino going to come back and like play the
bring out that guitar?
Oh
my god, that soundtrack is so good. And that's what I'm saying. Sonic Adventure 2, like, it's not perfect, but fucking A, that soundtrack's the best. And Live and Learn, you know. They have Live and Learn. What else is there to say? You have Live and Learn, you dominated, right?
I admit, you saw the teaser they had.
They play it,
I got like, oh, they know.
They know.
Oh, they know.
Man, give me all that Sonic Adventure 2 story bullshit. Fucking Sonic jumps into a limo with the goddamn president of the United States. You know how stupid that game is? I love it. It's so dumb.
And like, yeah, no, and like, no, fuck, you're just gonna just do it. Fuck it.
And that's where he says, Mr. President.
Man.
Speaking of which, did you see? It's the welcome to the Sonic podcast here. They give Knuckles the stupid hat from the movie.
Yeah,
you know how nerdy you have to be to even know what the fuck that is.
I don't care. That's the best.
Oh my god. He only has that hat in that one animated movie thing. That's it. He's never in the games. It's not like anything important. No one at Sega ever drew him with the fucking hat. But some guy at Toei or wherever they did the animation for that OVA special, give him a fucking hat, and that hat is now canon. That's the best. Someone out there's a hardcore nerd and remembers Blockbuster and that white VHS.
We're at the age now that people our age are like we actually can make stuff in here now.
I can work in Hollywood and incorporate the bullshit I remember as a kid.
No one will get it, but but they'll get it.
I'll get it, and my fellow '90s kids will remember. And like, I see what you did, bro. Give him a little fist bump there. Thumbs up. You did it. You did it.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of Sonic stuff this week. Huh.
A lot of big Sonic year. It sounds like.
I don't think anything else top of my head.
Got the sad Funimation debacle.
Oh, you want to cover that? Want to cover for a hot second? I guess.
For at least a hot second, I guess. Just it's in the headlines.
Well, you covered before.
I am tempted to do a part 2 on my old YouTube series when I talked about it back a few years ago. Well, more than a few years ago now, sadly. But when the Funimation and Crunchyrolls came together and then broke apart,
and then got
botted
and absorbed each other.
Yeah, and then there can only be one, and the chosen one is Crunchyroll because the Funimation subscription, which I did not know was still happening. I thought they killed that like a year or two ago. Is still available, but for a short time because I think they're pulling the plug in April. And if you are a Funimation subscriber, lucky you now, if you want to enjoy your similar anime content, you have to now become a Crunchyroll person, and that comes at a higher price because Crunchyroll has been charging its Crunchyroll subscribers a higher price than Funimation did 5 years ago.
And
when
the crazy part is
existed.
that a lot of stuff they have Funimation on Crunchyroll still yet.
Yes, which is. If you still have a subscription to Funimation, you are the smartest anime fan out there because you got most of the same anime for half the price. You're playing the smart game, and apparently Sony realized that and is pulling the plug on that and forcing you to upgrade your account to a Crunchyroll account, which means you have to pay more money because, like I said, Crunchyroll is more. I think it's $8 to $10 a month, and then even more so for the yearly subscription if you go based on the Funimation numbers, which is a pay increase, but I think more people are Crunchyroll subscribers, so I guess you're kind of used to that price because I know I am, sadly. But yes, to being forced to pay more for a similar service does never sit well with consumers. This is true.
Yeah, and also then the other side of the coin is, if you're like us who bought physical media.
Oh yes, the other part of that story.
Yeah, apparently if you had the special, I guess I didn't know they were cloud-based digital copies of said anime, those will disappear when the Funimation shuts down.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but as a person who's always been paranoid about relying on other services to provide my content, I'm not too surprised. But yeah, that does suck because I know, for example, the last time I remember that was a thing was when I bought my copy of Shin Godzilla, which was released here through Funimation out here in the States, it came with a Blu-ray physical copy, but also a digital ownership copy through the Funimation service. But you had to go to the Funimation app and log in and redeem the code, and you would have said copy of Shin Godzilla or whatever it might be. I know they did for other things, but that's my example. And yeah, that's just poof, doesn't exist anymore. So you're losing content that you technically should have owned, and it's still Sony, which Sony first bought. Right, people remember. Here's the timeline. Sony came out, they bought Funimation, and then AT&T eventually bought Crunchyroll, and then at some point AT&T sold Crunchyroll to Sony/Funimation, but Funimation's the one that's dying and going, the way of the dinosaurs, and Crunchyroll's becoming the king of anime streaming. But it is still all Sony, and Sony first bought Funimation. So technically on paper, there is no excuse they cannot keep those legal rights since they acquired Funimation first. But they're saying, go fuck yourself. We go spend more money for us in our corporation, in our profit margins.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part is probably to me the shittiest bit of news, but also
not surprising.
Not surprising because, as I've mentioned before, I've always been a physical media person, but sadly I know that's the way of the dodo now, and I'm running out of space to collect all these silly discs and cartridges. But when it comes to, TV shows and anime, stuff like that, I've always bought a physical copy. And thanks to other ways like Plex, you can make your own Crunchyroll service based off your own anime, which is 100% legal because it is your own personal copy that you're backing up and storing on a server, which then you can have access to it on your phone, on your computer, and anywhere else you go to, which is the way to go in my personal opinion, because at the end of the day, you are in charge of that service, no one else. You're not relying on corporations to look into your best interest. You're looking out for your own best interest.
Wait, Ray, you telling me corporations may not be in my interest for this?
You know what, I hate to break it to you, Moms. It turns out they kind of like the dollar signs more than you.
What?
So yeah, it's no surprise. Though sadly for people who are not aware, maybe the youngsters out there who are used to this more digital age of I have always access to this movie and this thing if I just get this service, it's not guaranteed.
Well, it's like video games things too, because the other thing I've never talked about head was Nintendo. They announced a date for that too now. The Wii U and
the 3DS
closed down,
which you knew was around the corner once they closed down the option to purchase stuff. Because now there's no money for them. So what's paying for this server to be up on their front, right?
Yeah.
That's their thinking.
I think also in April too, I
think you're right.
So April, just like the rains, April shower.
I was gonna say, there's gonna be a lot of waterworks all right on April.
But but that's the thing. It's like, I know, like we always say on the podcast, we're striving towards, the inevitability of everything's digital. You have the right to it,
right?
Or
you have the access to it for now until we say fuck you, no more.
So that's always you got to keep back in mind. Everyone's like, you might have see it now, but it could disappear in the next day if they choose to.
If they want to, they can easily pull the plug on you.
Like Amazon, some of my ebooks I bought from them, they pull the plug because they don't want questionable content on there.
Right.
Yeah, it's a welcome to another year of
welcome to the future. Like I said, if you have the option to do physical, I suggest to consider taking that path. Because at least then it's your choice if you want to, go back and enjoy this content, or you're done with this content, you got the most of it, and you want to let it go, and you can at least recoup some of your investment, right? And that's what GameStop motivation and plan has been for the last few decades, and with mixed results, I guess.
And also NFTs.
Yeah,
and Chotskys.
Yeah, there you go. Anything else news-wise, Miles? I'm trying to think. Anything else? I feel like the Sonic and the Final Fantasy was the big ones. The Crunchyrolls. I think we checked all the boxes. There's always something we could talk about.
No, I mean, there's like other things, like there's sports stuff, but no one. No.
That's a different podcast, Miles.
That's a different podcast. Don't know. That's
coming soon to Patreon subscribers.
Yeah. But there's also other things to get excited for.
Indeed. So I think we'll move on here on the podcast, and we'll talk about our main topic finally after this probably extended long cut of the podcast here. We have our anime winter 2024 season preview happening right now, live in front of you in a live studio audience.
Yeah. Sure.
Can't you hear the kids? See?
Yeah.
Proof. What else evidence do you need?
Yeah.
Damn it. Stupid Windows. Blows our cover every time. So let's talk about anime. So we have 9 shows that we're going to cover right now, right here on the podcast. Okay, let me break it down. So if you're first time listeners to the podcast, how we do it each season is we have 3 of our hosts watch 3 shows, give you previews of said shows, and for each host, they get to choose one winner out of the 3 shows that will go on and have a full review later on here on Otaku. And since I guess I will be picking up for our FCT Ivan, I'll be doing double duty. And so I guess I should start Miles, so it's a bit more balanced back and forth here we have going on here. So let's start with, I'm going to start with Ivan's first choice. I think I do have some notes from Ivan, so I'm not totally...
He did chime in.
He did chime in, so we're going to cover his notes. And I did dabble a little bit in his shows, trying to hopefully give a more...
And I'll correct his mistake.
Exactly. Well, maybe not that. But I could fully understand and appreciate his notes, maybe perhaps here. So let's see here. So his first pick was a show called Bottom Tier Character Tomozaki, which is a show I vaguely either read or saw the first chapters of manga and or anime because it seemed...
Is it a light novel or am I...
It could be. I don't know. But I stumbled upon something a form of this because I saw in episode 1 of season 2, they kind of recap season 1, and I'm like, I remember the premise. I didn't get far into it, but I remember the premise. So the premise of this show is there is this guy, I think his name is Tomozaki, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
What? No.
That checks out. And he's a big old otaku nerd, video gamer, gamers of gamers.
Also probably buff looking or something like that too, to make really...
Well, no, he's just a big old nerd looking, skinny, scrawny, weirdo kiddo who just doesn't talk to people, hates life, and just wants to spend all his time playing Smash Brothers or Smash Brothers clone, basically.
Smoosh Brothers.
Yeah, it's called like Fighting Family? Something like that. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, so yes. So he's a big nerd, doesn't know how to talk to people, hates people, but apparently he's like the #1 Smash Brothers player in his region or his area. But there's this #2 person out there who's always like giving him a challenge and pushing. And he's always like fighting for the #1 spot. And it turns out the second place fighter, I forget the circumstance, he figures out it's the most popular girl that also attends the same high school he goes to. Welcome to anime territory.
Oh, it's like cute.
Girls play video games?
Where's Otakon? Gone there.
Yeah, we got a weeb's dream out here.
And then I woke up, and then he woke up, and
there's that. So anyway, so that's so what happens is somehow they know each other and they know who they are, but in a weird agreement, we agree we are both nerds, but we will keep it a secret at our high school.
But girls can't be nerds.
I know. And they don't play video games too. And anyway, he's like, oh, fucking life sucks and blah, blah, blah. And her goal, I think her name is Aoi, if I'm not mistaken. Her goal is to convince him that the game of life is the best game of all time.
Oh, okay. All right.
And basically, it's a gamer's nonsensical anime storyline of like everything is video game related, where basically she gives him main quests to be more social norm and to integrate and to participate in the game of life.
Because you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that is the premise of the show of this nerdy guy relies on this closet otaku, I guess, to help him become more normal and join her in the game of society we all agree on.
I didn't know we're Pentacon. I didn't know we're dreaming right now. Wow, that's exactly. Really good. Okay.
So that is the setup of this series, and in season 2, it is still pretty much the same thing from what I saw and what Ivan wrote down his notes of. He's slowly trying to help people participate in society, in his classroom, and to have a normal high school life if you can, right? But it's a lot of video game where everything's in a video game. Oh, this is a quest and I need to get information and unlock the side quest and I got the treasure. Everything's a video game reference. And overall, a good idea, and should be promoted because especially in Japan, well, everywhere in the world, anywhere, but I guess more so in Japan because Japan's very They tend to easily be reclusive and everything. Everyone just talk to machines, don't talk to people, right?
My kind of people.
Exactly. Well, Miles can relate a little too much with Japanese society.
My gente, you might say.
There you go. Bringing the taco to life here today. What am I getting at? So yes, it's a very nerdy story for nerds.
Uh-huh.
So like I said, I just know the premise because I remember the setup of the season 1, and I did see the first 2.5 episodes of season 2, which is what we're really covering here on the podcast. And it reminds me of Snafu, for those who are familiar with that anime, where he basically has to go on these little side quests, if you will, and help people in his classroom with their little like everyday problems, which is what kind of happens in Snafu when they have the little club together and they have to people come into the club and have requests to fix their problems, right?
Yeah.
But it's still I'll say this, I like Snafu, but the problem is this thing is very
Snafu at home.
It's very gamified. It's too anime for its own good, I would argue.
Okay.
Where it's a little too much game references and this and that I feel like is unnecessary. We got it. You know, I got the first wink and nod, all right? How many times are we going to wink and nod? Hey,
so it's like,
RPG.
like the Big Bang Theory. A little too much.
Perhaps. Like... Hey, Lord of the Rings joke. Ha ha ha. Hey, Star Trek joke. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's a little too much. It relies on, like I said, that genre of knowledge and information that is gamers would know and take advantage of and blah, blah, blah. To me, like I said, so I did watch the first few episodes. My biggest problem with it was there's a lot of telling and not showing, where the protagonist will just voice over and tell you what happened in this problem situation. For a quick example, basically, the first problem in season 2, this one kid in her classroom is getting bullied by this other like popular delinquent kid, and he's trying to like figure out how to fix this problem. I'm not a fan of being told a story. I want to see the story.
Well,
that's why I'm here watching it.
It's an anime. You should describe. No, you have to show your actions in that, because if doing that, it reminds me of the novel or
the Wikipedia page.
You know, because like, oh, okay, yes, you know, because like it's mostly the exposition of him saying, "No, what's going on? Then what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Why is this an anime at this point?"
So that was my biggest problem with it. Yeah, looking at Ivan's notes here. Yeah, he felt kind of similar, and he felt basically it felt silly, and the story was a little bit lame, and that the fact that the main heroine protagonist Aoi is kind of not a good person, which I agree with in because I guess slightly spoilers.
She's taking advantage of the situation, probably.
Not takes advantage of, but so what happens real quickly? One spoiler. He realized, like I said, the issue is like some girl's getting bullied in the classroom, and he talks to her about it, like, hey, this girl's getting bullied because in the same classroom, right? But like it's like they're friends, but like it's a secret. No one knows that we're actually friends. We know each other.
Yeah.
But so they get together, and I guess the like home economics sewing club room apparently.
Oh, of course.
Because they keep showing sewing machines. I was getting confused for a while, and I was like, oh, this is like an empty vacant club that they hang out in. Anyway. And so he tells about this problem. He's like, we got to do something. And she's like, nah, just let it play out. Maybe it's her fault. It's her fault. She's basically victim blaming the girl who's getting bullied, which I'm like, what the fuck? That's not okay, girl.
And this is our heroine?
And that's what I'm like, yo, that's kind of, while I was watching, I was like, what the fuck? That's not okay. Just fucking punch or slap this bitch and take her down a notch. Guess what? Good old-fashioned brutality kind of works on most people when it comes in high school level. Little slap in the face wakes people
like,
up.
Even the girls from Snafu, pretty much, they don't know like that, right?
No.
No, I mean, they're more realistic than anything, but because that's what Snafu is. It's a very realistic way to deal with situations, but it wasn't as bad. Like, it's like, you know what? She deserved this.
And she's like the world's biggest hypocrite, because also what happens is later on in that first 2/3 episodes is she starts bullying one of her friends, and she's like, oh my God, she's bullying one of my friends. We have to stop her. And it's just like, what the fuck? You didn't say that 2 seconds ago, asshole. But now because it affects you personally, now you should, go fuck yourself a little bit. So yeah, there's a little, I agree with the little I saw in Ivan's notes. I agree with it. I don't know if he's seen all season 1 or whatnot. I'm not too sure. I'm assuming he has.
Well, he has to.
If he picked this one, right? But I don't know. Maybe he's just that hardcore and he saw the outcry of the fans out there. But yes, that is bottom tier Tomozaki. I think I want to say Nozaki, but I think it's a different anime.
No, that's different. Mostly
a much better show. I would recommend. But yeah, so I think I'll leave it there. Maybe.
I know, what a way to start the
Yeah, definitely not telling what's happening with that show in the near future. But stay tuned to see if it makes the cut or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Frank review. Oh yeah, but it gets good though.
Yeah, it's good.
Would recommend.
Yeah, 50 out and the 10th episode. That's when it really kicks off. All right, Miles. So what's your first preview for the season? You got for us?
So the first one I guess to go with is Time for Torture, Princess.
Okay.
So very just of is there's a great war going on between the demon army and the imperial court. And to lead off the imperial court was I guess a warrior princess. I don't know, that's her name. I guess that's what they call her. And then she doesn't really have a name per se.
Oh, she's just Hime. Hime.
So basically,
right, my Hime.
So she's fine, things like that, and then we cut straight to she gets caught eventually.
It happens.
They never explain how she happened. It just she bumps into it, and so of course she's being tortured by the Grand Inquisitor, Tortura.
Of course. This is Konosuba. What's happening here?
Let me get there.
All right.
So basically, we're now torturing you for secrets to give to Demon King to because the war's still going on, but they captured the princess very much, but all the tortures they do to her are the most funniest, weirdest nonsense. In which, for example, because they always catch
make sure watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
It's time for torture, princess.
Hunter.
And they come we're gonna give you this, and we give you a sandwich, but not just any sandwich. This sandwich has mayo, like a certain kind of mayo stuff.
Japanese love the mayo.
Well, no, I know, but
I'm just. I thought they were gonna say mustard because man, they love the mayo.
I used to because
don't they put mayo?
Well, I guess all of them are like little episode shorts. I guess like 4. It's like
short stories in an episode.
For an episode, that's the best way to describe it.
Like a comedy series.
So one of them, the takoyaki, and like, oh, takoyaki, that's interesting. Like, I'm new to questions like that.
Burns herself.
And then she's like, no, I am strong. I am the warrior princess. I count countless things like that, but then she slowly gives in because they show we add a little of this, a little of that. It looks pretty good though. And it's like, and she immediately gives in. And she has her talking sword Excalibur or X, I guess.
I love Soul Eater.
And the sword's like, oh, the princess will never give into that because she's strong, she's super, and she gives in like,
and instantly,
and he's like, Hime, and then like very much it's the whole gist of it. So
is he a proper asshole like in Soul Eater?
No, but no, he's
damn it.
But no, he's like,
you fool.
But he's like, I guess he's kind of like the knight kind of like he talks like more like a knight kind of like, oh, Hime-sama will never do that because she's so brave. Hime-sama, she's like, but that, and then of course it cuts to like this. She did confess something, but all her confessions are just stupid.
Right?
Like they take out the trash out on Wednesday.
There you go.
And the king's like, well, that's just stupid. Just,
like information that's not important at all to the plans.
And so we welcome to the cycle of like, okay,
and that's the joke.
But they have different they have different other torturers, I guess. Like they have 2 little demon kids that come along, but no, they play Smash Brothers. Like
more Smash Bros on the podcast.
But like it's like but after a while, everyone they like hang out with each other more, and like the torture.
Right, they're just becoming friends more than
anything. And it said Jimmy King's also a nonsense character too. And it said there's a lot of characters. It's a very comedic show, I guess.
Sounds silly.
It's like it's not torture per se, but no, and she gives it real easily sometimes. It's just like. And it's like move on to, and it's like, what do you think, boss? Well, we can't use that because I work on Sunday.
There you go.
Or so, like some
my weekend off.
Some bullshit to keep this show going, right? And I said, and it, like they go outside. She could break out of her chains every time, but she's still there for some reason.
It's just nowhere to go.
And it's like, and like even the sword's like, did she just broke out of her chains? Right? And they're like, nah, we're just having fun. Like, what's going on? Yeah, but no, overall, this show is funny as heck.
Sounds silly.
I think the best one was like when they talk about beer. And like cause here
how do they feel about IPAs?
So like they have beer like I guess they're assuming like if you pour beer from high like you.
Oh no.
Because like it was like not Sapporo but Sapporo.
Oh, yeah, basically right.
And like it's like and she had a glass and like because most people pour like this and the king's like
tilted
and the king's like oh, this is stupid. You have to pour it. Like, what's she doing? She got like the can like this.
All the way from high above.
She poured it down to here.
Oh my no.
But no, she had the way how like it fold,
the head
folds up, and because like a pelicans, and they even like like for you keep your job, you must torture me now.
There you go.
And it's like it's like certain beers. Like, oh, I know every spiritual drink. I know every single. I tried every single alcoholic drink out there. You can't. Ooh, that beer doesn't be tasty though.
There you go.
And it's just fun.
He likes his double IPAs.
It's fun, silly things. We're doing like we have Disneyland parody. We have we have
all this in 3 episodes.
We talk about marshmallows. Instead each episode like 3 or 4 stories in each one.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
They're fun.
Shorts.
They're fun, silly things. They're like all of it's like comedic effect. No one's really getting injured or things here.
Right.
And they're more
serious.
and like we're all having fun and playing more than actually being tortured.
Mm-hmm.
And none of the secrets are there are even helpful anyway. So it's just a fun. You watch an episode like, yeah, this was a fun thing to do.
Sounds promising.
So it's probably making up there, I guess. It's on Pine Jam, so they're pretty.
The name sounds familiar.
They're a very well established studio. They do a lot of other comedic things that I know.
You know any other shows they've done?
I used to remember them, but because there's so many.
The name does scream comedy when I think of it.
There's so many different studios out there now. That
I know there's.
I lost track. I know they do a lot of comedics work and it shows.
Yeah, despite I can't name anything, I feel that the force tells me that's correct.
And the best part, there are a lot of there are a lot of timing jokes, I guess. So kind of
fast, rapid.
Kind of like, I'm sorry, what now? And it's like you have to pay attention what's going on.
Right, you're gonna miss it.
The opening endings are okay, but you're not there. No.
Well, it's a comedy show. As long as the show's funny,
yeah,
that's what matters.
And then they do the classic Shonen Jump and like 30-second spin of the Great War since whatever.
Oh, wow.
So they kind of had like the
little padding. Wow, that's a problem with comedy shows. You could use every.
But be honest, you can skip by and you're fine.
That's right. That's true.
So I thought it's a pretty nice show, a very cute, funny show, I guess.
Alrighty. It does sound promising. I'm at the moment. It's granted it's your first selection, but I'm cheering for the show at the moment. We'll see what happens. All right, so I will go with my first show that I watched, and this is Bucchigiri, I think is how you pronounce it.
Oh, the Mappa joint.
This is indeed a Mappa studio production. So let's see here. In this show, I'm trying to remember the characters' names here. No, I think Bucchigiri is like more of a catchphrase. I think I don't think no one's named Bucchigiri. I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute now, sadly, since I've seen the show. But yes, we have this kid named I think it's Origin, something like that, I believe. And he is a new transfer student into this new school that is in Asia. It doesn't even specify if it's Japan, and the setting is very more like a collaboration of different parts of Asia, where like this part looks like China, this part looks like India, this part, different areas.
Oh, like subsections inside the school?
Yeah, no, just the environment they're in. Like the outside of the school, like there's like palm trees, which is like that's not common, and the culture and the vibes, the outfits people are wearing. To me, it just seems like a congregation of all areas throughout of all of Asia, not just, particularly East Asia, but also, like I said, a lot of India influences I see, the way they're dressed, even more so when I'll talk about it in a sec what the major plot point is.
Yeah.
But anyway, the setting is unique. And so he's a new transfer student. He is trying to, be the cool guy. He wants to look good. He's like trying to go for like a cool, he's like carrying a guitar, a bass guitar of some sort, and trying to be like the cool rocker kid.
Oh, it's a Bochi.
Maybe, I guess, the little I've seen of Bochi, something like that. Where he's trying to make a name for himself in this new school he's starting in. He's trying to make a new leaf, make himself look like the cool kid. But what happens is when he starts, I think it's high school, technically. Apparently the school he ends up at is basically a big, like, fucking delinquent school.
Oh, sweet.
So if you're like familiar with like GTO and like kind of Yu Hakusho, like that kind of like late 80s, early 90s.
There's this gang over here and there's that gang.
Yeah, there's a lot of like little school gangs stuff happening here.
Yankees and the bike chain.
Yeah, stuff like that, exactly. And he gets kind of caught up in this nonsense, but he doesn't want to like participate. All he wants to do is basically he wants to look cool and get a girlfriend in high school. And like that's his big thing is he wants to get a girlfriend and score with said girlfriend, right? And that's his real goal in high school. But it turns out he makes a name for himself, but then he accidentally stumbles upon these delinquents because, of course, that's what delinquents do. They harass the new kid in school. But he able to avoid said delinquents because he bumps into what basically is
a stand.
Yes, but a genie in the lamp stand.
Okay, there you go.
So there are these magical beings that are basically a genie, kind of, but like stand, like you mentioned, Miles, like a stand genie.
Oh, we're actually doing it. Okay.
There's Aladdin references for sure. There's literally like things in called Aladdin, especially if you've seen the open, particularly the ending. The ending's just like
it shows stats and like what we could do. Can you?
Yeah.
Is it a laundry stand, a strawberry stand? Can you take other stand users?
Well, the thing is there's only one stand, and it's the guy the genie, and he has a name, and of course I forget his name. Senya, I think is his name. He's the big, tall, buff, red hair looking stand / genie guy.
Star Platinum.
And it's very much like, and I've never seen it, but it gives me a little bit JoJo vibes, a little bit of because the art style is very lavish and kind of crazy, similar to like Yu-Gi-Oh! Higher styles and stuff, over the top, a little over designed perhaps, especially with some of the gangsters and delinquent head honchos you bump into. They are really swinging for the fences in character designs and the background designs. Like I said, it's very unique. It catches your eye. Anyway, so yeah, story wise, he meets the genie, and because he meets this genie, he kind of gets stan abilities where he could fight real good, but he really is a big kind of wimp weakling, right? But because he punches one of the big top delinquents, the big top delinquent's like, yo, this guy's strong. I want him to join my crew, and I'm gonna get him to join my crew. And it turns out the head honcho, who's a part of that crew, his sister, he kind of has a crush on because she's like the cute normal girl in his classroom. So that's the one he instantly falls in love with. But she's a big crazy, I don't know, incest sister who
sweet.
So yeah, it's already like, oh good, the anime check marks I hate is also here.
All right, awesome.
Cool. And where she doesn't care about him or anyone else, she just cares about Oni-chan, and she just wants to, I don't know, do something with her brother. What I'm probably not comfortable saying out loud.
Making things great.
There you go. So, or Hemo fans rejoice. I guess.
Shit. There you go.
So yes. So that is the big complex situation, and then there's a childhood friend who is also part of another delinquent school who really likes him, but he doesn't like him.
Yeah, another Japanese staple.
Yeah. So we have that kind of like friendly old school rivalry, kind of, because like I said, the main protagonist doesn't have nothing to do with that guy, but he wants to hang out with them because back in the day, he, in his eyes, because when he was a kid, he was like the scrawny little weak kid, and he was like kind of his big protector, right? But of course, he becomes a big strong guy, and the other guy is just like Edward Elric, just a little puny weakling, short nobody. So like that's a whole dynamic. They're trying to do that, and like I said, there's another, and then so like those are the two main gang fractions, but like the third gang fraction they introduce, as far as I got into in the story.
So there's it with the Blue Lions?
A little bit. And so yeah, it's basically everybody wants this guy because he's really strong, but he's really not. He's only strong because of the genie, and he's trying to. The genie's like trying to be like, I just want to fight opponents, and I'm looking, and like there's also this mysterious like I'm looking for a certain guy, but it's like a very it's like a quick throwaway line, right?
Okay, so there's like no wishes are involved. It's more like he pretty much gets to stand.
Well, the wish is he says like bring me because he wants to sync with him, just like I don't know, like Mega Man Battle Network here. We need to increase our sync ratio.
Full synchro.
Yeah, and we could be the strongest being there ever was, right? And he's like, tell me your biggest wish, and his biggest wish is, I want to lose my virginity, and that's how he gets strong because he declares that. But of course, the genie guys, what the fuck? Like, what a stupid thing! Like, what?
Was it like Chainsaw Man?
Oh yes.
It's like I just want to have a simple dream, but it's my dream.
Yeah, it's that basically. It's a little bit of that as well. Where this guy's just really horny for this one girl. That's never gonna happen because she's too horny for her brother.
Oh, Denji.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, from Chainsaw Man. And all the big gang leaders are horny for him because he seems to be really strong, but he's really not strong. He's a big wimp, and he's always like, carried away until he has to man up and one punches man away out of his scenario.
So does he physically fight, or does like the genie fight?
No, they like fuse together and become like a fusion form. Well, he doesn't really transform, not like physically.
Is a genie?
He just gets strong.
Is a genie in the head is in his hand?
I mean, like when he punches him, he leaves like an imprint, like kind of like, I don't know, fucking Star Platinum, I guess.
Does he go ora?
He does not.
Oh, then
not yet. But yes, so it's interesting. It's like I said, it's a lot of like shenanigans with a little bit of action. It's a balance of shenanigan and action. It's basically, like I said, the environment is unique. I don't know if it's good or bad. It's unique. It stands out in my brain. It's Mappa, so it's relatively well animated. I think the jokes land more often than not, so that's a plus. Minus the whole incest.
It's an original one, right?
It is an original story, made by a person. I was curious because it's the original story who wrote this, and apparently it is. I forget the person's name, but they worked at multiple anime studios, including of note in his credits was Kyoto Animation.
Okay.
So, that is a good sign for me since I like a lot of Kyoto Animation's works, and particularly the titles they worked on are titles I have enjoyed in the past. So it is promising from the little I have seen, but there's a couple other titles that may just beat it out. So I guess stay tuned for that. And notable, the ending is pretty charming and cute, and like I said, it's got the whole like Aladdin Arabian Nights thing happening. There are moments I do think not exactly. It does remind me of Kyoto Animation sometimes, and also particularly interesting character design wise. It reminds me of like Code Geass.
Well, long skinny bodies.
A little bit. In particular, the two designs that makes me think of Code Geass is, if you've seen season 1, right? Code Geass. The main love interest reminds me of, and I forget, I haven't seen that show in like 15 years. I think she like represented China, the princess of China.
Yeah, I see her in my head. I think
she's in the opening. If we're familiar with Code Geass opening, she looks like the main love interest of the girl in the classroom, who's also got the hots for her brother, and the childhood best friend, big guy, just looks like Suzaku steroid out from Code Geass. So if you're curious, check out and see if you agree with my assessment on those two characters. And then a lot of who remembers non-Baka, by the way? The gang leader looks like some non-Baka
ripoff.
Yeah, because with the two-tone, colorful, he's got piercing earrings all over the place. The show is doing a lot. It's a lot, but it's maybe interesting a lot.
Well, it sounds like from other Mappa, at least they're trying to swing for the fence, actually make interesting content for once.
Yes, so I don't hate it, so that's always a plus for me.
And I guess I'm assuming is there more animation than CG animation? I guess.
Oh, it's more traditional animation. Yeah. It's more Jujutsu Kaisen, less Chainsaw Man. I guess if that's
more Chainsaw, because Chainsaw Man.
I like Chainsaw Man, but sometimes that animation kind of turns me off. I won't lie. All right, Mouse. I think it's back on your turn. What else do you got for us?
All right. So next up is Sasaki and Peeps, or P-chan, I guess. That's the Japanese.
I love Peeps. Is Easter? Easter's around the corner.
So this is interesting because it's kind of like a reverse isekai, but not at the same time.
All right.
So basically, our main hero is Sasaki. He works at a train company. He's a middle-aged salary man.
I was gonna say, okay, so he's like a salary man at this point.
He's a train company. That company like works him to death. He worked pretty hard. He's just trying to get on by. He's like, man, I wish I had like someone to go home to. He doesn't really have a girlfriend, things like that. He just
sad, lonely old man.
And then so he heard one of his coworkers talking. I had like a little cat or a dog, at home. So he has expression. Man, I should get looking into a little animal, stuff like that. So he goes to a pet shop and one of his shifts, and then his shift's going home. And he picks his little bird. He called P-chan, or Peeps, I guess in English. Turns out this little bird, unfortunately, she's
hopefully it's not from the Miyazaki film.
He is from another world.
Of course.
Someone put him into the real world.
I love Bleach
as a little bird because he has a little star, I guess, on him.
That's definitely Bleach.
He is a star sage. And so
now it's Zelda.
And so he wants to get back to his world and try to figure out what happened, how he got here, how
He became a bird.
How he became a bird and
Doesn't know how he became a bird.
Yeah, because it's that something happened to him and they trapped him in this little bird body, I guess.
I love Bleach.
And so using Sasaki as the vessel or whatnot, he's been able to learn how to use magic, and he's able to transport to I guess Isekai world.
Oh, okay.
And so he's
so it's what 8 million in gold or whatever it's called.
Yeah, just of like
back and forth.
He goes back and forth because he's a trading man. No, that's what he knows what to do. He trades our services for his service, and he gets that's how he makes money. So
Spice and Wolf minus the hot fox girl.
But wait, it gets weird.
Fox girl,
because apparently during one of his M4 travels between the psychic department of Japan's police department sees him using a spell or whatnot because he
magic's real
magic, and so but he does like icicles one time. It's like, oh, he's a psychic. So they recruit him from his office. So he works now at the psychic division.
So now it's Mob Psycho.
We're
jumping all animes over here. Checking all the boxes.
But wait. There's more. So not only would they have that nonsense going on, so now he's a psychic now, or because he knows one trick, but he knows a lot of other magic spells.
Right.
They know him for one trick.
The one thing he knows, they know he can do.
So there's that, and then there's magic girls exist in this thing.
Of course they do. Why not?
And apparently this little Japan's magic girl apparently wants to kill all the psychics.
Is she shy?
No, because she wants to kill the psychics because they killed her parents, things like that.
Oh, for revenge.
So, and I said, this is
a lot happening.
And I said, this poor man's like kind of, he's a middle-aged man. He's like,
right. I don't want to have time to deal with this anime bullshit.
He's a smooth talker.
Oh, okay.
So he's just like, I just want to calm everyone the fuck down. I just wanted to survive. Everyone survive in one piece. I just want to live.
Ozark all over again.
I want to play my little bird. And I just want, and I just
want
a
little magical talking bird.
And I just want to have a normal life, but everything around, of course, is all over the place. So there was the stories of him trying to bounce between this world and the other world.
So a lot of supernatural shenanigans.
Yeah, it's crazy out there, I guess.
All right, not totally turn off, but it's a very fine line between good and bad.
By, Silverlink, so there's
that helps. They tend to do comedy stuff well.
And it just fits. It's like to him, he just wants to he wants to do better than he did money wise because he was kind of in the poorhouse kind of way. So he's making enough money as it is. He just wants to live a normal, peaceful life.
Has he ever considered washing money?
No, he has not. He probably done a lot better.
I mean, Yakuza.
But no, I guess just because
Kiryu's looking for a new guy.
He does a very traditional Japanese like a businessman. He's like make deals. He tries to sell goods, services. Because that's what he knows what to do.
What about with Majima? Majima's looking for a new guy here.
Yeah.
Worlds are colliding.
Like I said, and it can be a little much because I'll be honest, the first episode is like almost kind of like Oshinoko. It's like 48 minutes.
Oh my god, no! This is becoming a thing now.
But the rest of episodes are usual 24 standard. But
how many people die and we get reincarnated in episode 1?
And I said, and it can be a lot because there's so much things going at once.
It sounds like it.
No, but it gets it.
In a good way.
Harry still works, but no, I say for now, like other codes, it might be a lot to take in because he's bounced between our world
and their world,
and plus doing with magical girls and sidekicks and do a lot of things,
which is normal. Once again, the magical girls is like standard fare in our reality.
Yeah, well, because they have they exist, like because one of the sex says they exist too, and then sure enough one pops up and it's like so there's a lot of
That is a lot.
It's a lot ping ponging back between different concepts,
right?
But the gist is in the man, he's middle aged. He knows certain situations are bad, so he's just like, I'm just trying to talk my way out of this, and if I have to fight, I'll fight. But I'm just trying to,
right?
I'm just kind of
being a responsible adult.
Yeah, so I guess that's interesting because usually I'm gonna punch this guy.
Exactly, punch my way through this problem.
Like, no, let's talk it out.
All right. I'm kind of interested.
And then the little bird helps teaching some magic tricks, things like that.
Have you seen Bleach?
And he could fly around, and it's like a lot of, I guess. I know to right now. Yeah, I guess.
Now you realize the reference I'm going for.
No, because I Bleach. Yeah, no, help me,
Shadow.
Anyway, like I said, it's well animated. Some shots, some of the action scenes are kind of weird, but I think they try to do it for a stylistic effect, kind of. Like they do kind of like here's my ultimate attack, and they kind of slow it down, kind of, but it's like it looks cool, I guess exaggerated,
but in a cool way.
In a cool way. Okay, it works, some it doesn't.
Okay.
And I said, and this is like, it depends how information you can handle.
Right, how much bullshit can you swallow?
Because that's the kind of issues like it's a lot of stuff you have to kind of understand and deal with to watch this show.
Not your first anime, perhaps.
Yeah, no, like, and he does what now? And this involved.
You have to be used to these shenanigans.
So, but other than that, it has promise. It's just that it is a lot to handle, especially if you're. I gotta watch like basically a 2-episode thing to start off this thing.
Right, which good and bad, I guess, right?
But in each episode they do go back and forth. They don't do everything all at once. It's like,
right.
Now we're in this world and we're dealing with this problem.
Right.
Or we're here now we're doing this problem.
They can't, yeah. Not...
So they do balance it out, at least through all these episodes, not totally like over the place, but
that's good.
Everything is happening all at once, and then you just make sure you keep that in the back of your head, I guess.
All right. It's surprising. I feel like this is maybe the first time here on the podcast where I'm like, these are two shows that I'm curious about. So, and also because it's like most of the shows this time around, I did watch up to episode 5-ish because I cheating
because it was hard. It is hard. These two ones will be easy to find out. Yeah, so that's Sasaki and Peeps.
All right.
Sasaki and Peeps.
I was gonna say Sasuke.
Well, because in English they call it Saki, or because I guess the kind of Sasuke like over here they kind of like lower it, or
the emphasis on the words.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Because I looked at the English, kind of like, but English mix is kind of weird because it lowered the English. The English is lower than the Japanese version.
Just the volume, you mean?
Yeah, the volume wise is kind of weird.
Oh, mixing. We'll fix that.
But I don't know if that was just that episode or was just
I mean, that's the sad part when you. I feel bad for anyone who has to do like a dub within in 48 hours. Like, how the fuck do you do that? You're going to make mistakes. It's just bound to happen.
Yeah, but that's the only downside. But it's fine.
Okay. All right. So now it's Ivan's turn. All right. Let me bring out my Ivan cheat sheet, if you will. You bust it out. All right. So this one I have a lot more notes about. So this second choice of Ivan's was the Dangers of My Heart, In My Heart.
In My Heart, yeah.
There you go. Something dangerous and heart involved.
The surprise pick that everyone chose from last year, that everyone liked from last year.
Yes, it did seem to be the cult classic of last season. Since when it came out, no one was really talking about it, but at the end of the season, everyone was talking about it, which is good timing because season 2 has just come out, or maybe it's 2 seasons ago now I think about it.
Yeah.
But anyway... So season 2 came out. Ivan picked it, and let's see here. I know the show, but through podcasts and the anime.
Well, I didn't talk about
osmosis.
I read the first volume.
Oh, have you? Well, okay. Well, I have also. Well, then correct me if when I go steer wrong, Miles.
Yeah.
So it is a comedy romance, basically, where it ends up becoming a comedy romance.
Yeah, the first episodes are weird.
Yeah, so the beginning of the show, my understanding is there's this, I think it's a middle school, right, kid, who has this really hard-on to kill the popular girl in his classroom.
Well, he loves macrobay or the goth things.
Whatever. Yeah, he's a big Tim Burton fan,
and so he fantasizes like what if I killed the popular girl in class and. For some, it's middle school, so I guess it kind of.
Well, it's one of their trying to prepubescent bullshit that we don't know what we want, and we're all growing up and trying to figure out what these feelings and emotions are. But it starts off that way where he's really trying to figure out ways to kill her or something to a certain degree. I don't know. That's my understanding.
We leave that. The author leaves that part after for a bit because that was getting really
right. But then my understanding is then apparently he realized these feelings of murder and violence really is just romantic. I have a hard-on for this super cute girl in my class, and that's where we get the comedy romance. And I'm assuming through shenanigans, once I don't know the details, he friends the popular girl in his classroom, so much so that he realizes his romantic feeling towards her. And my understanding is, according to Ivan's notes, is that they slowly in season 2 they're working their way from friendship to romantic relationship. I'm trying to think, is there a friend?
Romantic relationship?
That was I was trying to think, is there a way to say that with less words? But no, I can't think of if that exists in the English language. But yes, so it is basically a comedy romance where the awkward emo kid falls in love with the big popular girl in the classroom who looks like she's at least 5 years older than everyone else in the class.
Well, she's tall.
I don't know. It's a combination of he is either really short or she is really tall or a combination of the both, because I only saw the first episode in season 2, so like I said, I really don't know much, but I've heard about it. But just art style design, watching them animated, it's like she looks like this girl's in high school and everyone else is like still in 6th grade. Like they just started in middle school. And like I said, she's tall and
she snacks a lot.
She has big proportions for her age, which God forbid when she hits high school, I don't know how she's gonna afford the daily necessities that she's gonna need. But yes, so I don't know. It was hard because like I said, I watched the first episode. Trying to look at Ivan's notes to help me out. Basically his is it's nothing super interesting when it comes to the comedy romance genre, but every so often there's a bit of an artsy take the director has, which spices up things and makes it a little bit more interesting. And the director himself does a very good job of knowing where like the highlight of each episode is. And I think if I'm reading this Ivan's note right, he does the Full Metal Alchemist trick, Brotherhood trick, where he slowly encrypts the ending with the episode, which is always a very nice touch. I appreciate it. Rihanna fans rejoice. And that the fact that the insecurities of the main protagonist is very realistic and makes him a little bit more interesting than the standard protagonist. But that the main girl herself is a big bowl of nothingness and is just cute waifu material for us to all draw and perhaps do more with after we draw our favorite waifu, perhaps. So that is, I believe, most of Ivan's notes he mentioned. And yeah, it seemed fine. I guess, like I said, it's very hard to, have a critique on a thing I just jumped into one episode with in second season without seeing the first season. But the art style is unique. It's kind of more, I guess if I had to make a comparison, maybe because also another tall, dark, mysterious girl reminded me of another show I haven't really seen or watched or read. Was it Komi-san?
Yeah.
Because isn't she a big, tall, blank page?
Well, you could say Komi-san, you also could use, Sawako, you could also use that as her as well.
Maybe. We talk about Kimi no Todoke?
Yeah.
But, well, like, I guess maybe character design. Well, she's not really tall and lank. I mean, she's kind of spooky looking, I guess, and that's her shtick, right? It's the girl from The Ring.
Because I think, what's her name? Anya, right? Or Anna?
Yeah, yes, I did catch that. I'm like, wait, so she's like half Japanese? I don't know what their story is.
Well, it probably makes...
Actually, if you watch the show, I'm sure it explains it.
It probably makes sense. But
I just don't like, what the fuck? Why is her name... Like, her first name's like English.
All I know is that she's...
And I guess that explains why she's taller,
She likes snacking.
She likes snacking?
She likes to eat, I guess, little snacks,
And that's what makes her big and strong, question mark?
Well, no, but I guess
big in all the regards?
That's her trait. Everything else,
She likes to munch on.
Yeah, but, since most of it's, for the most part, your standard, anime look, I guess.
Right, it still is a middle school comedy romance. Will they or won't they? Ooh, stay tuned, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I haven't wrote down, and from the little I've seen, I would agree with his assessment that it's interesting, but maybe standard fare. But let's see. I guess we'll find out if it's good enough to make the final cut.
All right. I guess
that's the dangers of heart. So we're back to you, Miles, for your
final pick.
Yeah, I just realized I'm gonna have to talk a lot in the last half, aren't I? Whoops. We'll figure this out.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll put another vote or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So my last show for this season to cover is Pon no Michi.
Okay.
So Pon no Michi is not basically.
Oh no! Oh god.
So basically,
Wait, hold a sec.
No, God, please, no, no, no.
All right. So basically, our main protagonist, Nashiko, who pretty much gets kicked out of her house.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess she plays around all day. She's your typical high school, but I guess she plays at home a lot, I guess, and her mom kind of like kicks her out because for some reason we don't know.
When you say play, what do you mean?
Like she plays video games.
Okay. She's just a big old nerd.
She's a big old nerd.
Okay.
And she I guess loafs around the house. So her mom kicks her out. It's like, you need to go somewhere else to play.
Go touch grass, as the kids would say these days.
Yeah, I guess so. So of course, the dad, I guess he works overseas or whatnot.
Of course he does.
And he's like, hey, yo, daughter, if you want.
Hey, yo, daughter. Why do I feel like he's talking with an American accent?
No, but I mean, he basically says like, I own an old mahjong parlor.
Oh.
Down the street, like down somewhere, and he doesn't use it anymore.
Sounds slightly shady, but all right. Is he also laundering money?
I don't know.
He could be. Stay tuned.
We do not know. Let's always say that. I own a mahjong parlor down somewhere near their house. You can go in there and you could
run the place for me,
or you could clean up, I guess, and be like your own secret headquarters.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And I said, like, it doesn't matter.
And then Key walks into this place,
and so obviously, she goes down the old the old mahjong parlor, and she summons like the little. I guess I need to go to mahjong parlor to see if this is actually true or not. So in the mahjong parlor, there's a bunch of mahjong manga books.
There you go.
And there's and you've seen those like electronic like mahjong tables.
I know they exist.
So there's one of those in the shop.
Okay.
And then her and her friends that come with her to clean out the place. They
wait, what is this? She's hustling the place? Oh, it's my first time ever playing. Just dropping tiles.
No. But I guess she's like I said, she's not really playing mahjong. At first, I thought it was like this is mahjong.
It's like a hustle here.
And I was like, but it's like
trying to make some cash for them video games.
The best and worst of my accounts, like but it's not really mahjong or things like that. I was like, hang out with your friends and we're having fun.
Okay, so once again, like K-On.
Yeah. So we're like mahjong, but
we're in the mahjong genre or whatever, but we're really not talking about mahjong. We're just doing cute, silly girl things.
So
she's not a sad, complete loner apparently, which I was surprised by.
So they basically, she starts up the little mahjong machine, I guess, whatnot. Spirit comes out. Yeah.
What the are you talking about?
All right, I did not see that coming, but all right.
So it's like a little bird,
That's a different show. I thought you talked about the show already.
Yeah, I guess.
Everyone's a Bleach fan today. Everyone loves Bleach. Bleach is back, baby.
So this little bird, I guess he pops up. He talks, but only she can listen.
Of course,
it's just like Peeps earlier. So she talks, but only he can only she can understand him. Most of them,
magical digital bird comes out of,
and he pretty much teaches her how to play mahjong.
Okay,
but like I said, that was like for one episode. And after that, the bird's just there for comic relief now.
Okay,
and the gist of pretty much like, hey, my dad gave me this the gist of the shows. Hey, my dad gave me this old mahjong power he has
that I have to run.
And when she doesn't run, it's like her clubhouse, I guess.
Only people bet in mahjong. Is there gambling involved in here?
No. Yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, because obviously girls aren't. No, they're
gotta go pay for the drinks at the local conveni.
They're all high schoolers, but they look like more like adults. Really.
There you go. She's hanging out with the girl.
It's
Do you like snacks too?
There's a lot of interesting proportions we have.
Oh no, goodness gracious!
I think it's hard, right? Because I'm trying to
all that weight's going to the right places once again.
And it's like, but I can't buy it. And if all these girls are I don't know. It's a hard time buying the character design sometimes,
It's hard, especially when you go. You actually look at photos of real Japanese high schoolers. Something's different here.
And I said it's very chaotic because the girls, their pronouns are kind of chaon girls.
So yeah,
but for some reason the character design decided to
what if
what, Yui or
Yui, that's what it is.
Yeah,
what if you had big no knockers and walked up and said, let's play some mahjong, folks?
That's the only downside of this thing is the
big old titties confuse you.
Because
it does, I won't lie, because I feel like either you got big titties or you don't, so either we're doing cute girls doing cute things or and that's two choices.
Because obviously how the show works and how the things that is a cute doing cute thing show, right? Right. We're losing my dad's old place and we're making food.
We're being silly and cute.
But but then these girls look like adults. What, it just throws you off.
Do I need to close and lock my door?
I was like, what is this?
Check all the boxes here. Check all the boxes.
We do talk about mahjong for a hot second. Then it was by OLM, the Pokemon people.
Gotta catch 'em all.
And they do very well, animating when the girls play mahjong because they actually know they do.
They actually play the game properly once.
But
but it's just a quick,
just like a lot of mahjong mangas and things I read. It's like, I hope you know it because we're not going to explain what the hell it is.
Classic,
And it's like, okay, well, good thing I know enough
I vaguely understand what you need to do in the game, but that's about it. There's that too. That helps.
But but it's like are you gonna learn mahjong here? You're not.
We're not gonna.
You're like you might get some.
Come on, if Slam Dunk teach me how to slam dunk, then I expect the same for this show.
There's a lot of. I was trying to think of the gambling show Frank was talking about. Kaiji.
Kaiji, yeah, Kaiji.
There are a lot of Kaiji references in this thing.
Okay, I would assume so because it sounds like we're halfway there, if not all the way there. Which I need to watch that one.
But I said for the most time we're just doing cute girl things with these girls that are not. They're not high school
with their big proportions.
It's like, what is this?
Anime.
And I say, the songs, the opening is pretty cute and things like that, right? But the girls are kind of like,
should I be heart horny or the other kind of horny?
And just like, I just want to enjoy the show, but they just look, they just like, it's like, what is this?
What if once again, K-On, guys, I can't put on the bass. My boobs are too big. Help me.
Yeah. I was making that joke from Kaguya. It was like, and Ishigami was talking about like, oh, her boobs are too big. She can't do so.
That was fucked up. It's funny.
And then you see the president going like, gosh, she's right behind you. And
yeah.
And then Chica's against
the big paper fat. And it just goes to town and whack, whack. That was funny shit.
I did like later on, then when he they do it again, or you see her like she whacks him again, but like just overkills him because he's already dead. It's just
it's not over yet. Yeah.
But it
comes at a price.
It is a mile show. That's the way I put it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but the character design so kind of threw me off.
Horny mile show.
Just like, man,
trying to have a good time here, and I don't know which hand I should be using right now. I'm confused.
And like I said, and then just as far as like even mahjong,
it doesn't do a good job of telling you how to play mahjong.
It's like, and I won how because I got a better hand. Okay.
And which hand is the real question here?
And even it's funny. It's funny. You also even talk about the popular online mahjong game out there, Mahjong Soul, which is by people who make Arc Knights, because they do a lot of other mobile things. But they legitly have the artwork and they're showing the game. Actually them playing
officially
the game.
Sponsored.
So I thought that was interesting.
That is a little interesting.
You don't see that often.
That you do not. Just like my Pizza Hut and Code Geass.
But but it is technically a mahjong show technically.
Yeah, sure it is.
But
so definitely Game Pass. It sounds like.
Yeah. I think I'll watch. I may watch it. I may watch it. Maybe hear it
with the lights off, the door closed, the right kind of light up the candle, maybe.
It's fun until you look at the girl. I mean, that's messed up, because they're having fun. They're having, but it's like, who designed the characters? Let's find that guy.
A sad little man.
And it's like, but it looked cool. I was like,
think of the pillows we could sell.
Yeah, God, it reminds me of Shirobako. But think of the merchandise we sell at the end of the day. It's like, oh, here we go. Just it bums me out, man. That's the way it's like. I'll watch, but it bums me out though.
All right. Is that it, Miles?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Well, stay tuned. So my next pick, this is for myself, Ray. I picked is because I'm double duting. This is Dungeon Meshi, or what do they call it? Delicious in Dungeon.
Well, that does not make
doesn't roll off the tongue. There's so many ways we could have called this that would have rolled off the tongue. That is the worst name to pick. They picked the most literally translation, which never do. Everything's always a translation / adaptation when you translate to another language. Anyway, this is a show done by Studio Trigger that is a Netflix exclusive, so you have to, subscribe to Netflix to enjoy it. So in this one, as you can imagine, it is a more fantasy-based story, where the main character, whose name is Leos, I believe, him and his party in the beginning, first episode, get pretty much ass stomped by this big evil red dragon. But luckily for him and his party, they get saved because his sister, who is a mage, teleports them out of that situation and out of the dungeon. So in this world, there is this big world dungeon where basically, if I remember right, once again, it's been a minute since I saw the show. There's the one piece if you go all the way to the bottom of the dungeon.
Yeah, what's that? Kind of like what's that? Are there cute? Was Ron to ask a girl in the dungeon, something like that?
Is that what the premise? Now that's even longer.
Well, because there's a labyrinth that goes down the earth. You had to you had to go down different levels.
Basic video game. Haha, got to travel and do all these things and level up.
Yeah.
So yes, so his party gets warped out of there. But his sister stays behind. And is supposedly being eaten.
Still fighting.
So here's where it gets a little weird. So the sister is supposedly, we don't know this for a fact, but it is supposedly believed that she is being eaten by the dragon. And so here, let's see, it's a problem. So the idea is like, oh no, my sister's being eaten by the dragon. I have to go down there and save her. The problem is like, it doesn't specify, but it seems like in there where I got into episode 3, 4-ish, is like she must be like on the 50th floor and they're back on level 0 on 1, right? And they have to work their way back to level 50. But the way the pace is going, there is no way they're going to get there anytime soon. And the justification for this problem is like, oh, well, we could revive her because it takes like a month for her to be digested in a dragon's stomach. So yes, as you can imagine, that's okay. Let me finish the setup and then I'll explain the problem if it wasn't already self-explained with that. So he needs to get back to safe to save her sister, but the problem is they have no money, they have no supplies, and so they're like, what do we do? Do we give up our weapons? Do we give up our items? But we need both of these things to survive in the dungeon. And their answer is, well, we could save cost if we just, instead of buying food and rations and potions, we'll just eat the monsters in the dungeon, which is not common. No one does this, but apparently someone does because homeboy Leos brings out a cookbook saying this is how you eat monsters in the dungeon.
He just had a cookbook?
Yes, it's a lot of hand-wavy magicalness to do that. So not only does he have this magical book to help him to make it believable, they bump into I guess he's a dwarf warrior, be my guess. He doesn't specify that. Whose name is I think Senshi. And kind of short guy, big beard. But I guess he's like an iron chef when it comes to this stuff because he's done this before. But he's like, this is like the first. He's like, they're like, oh my god, someone actually wants to eat monsters. Me too. So these two instant like kind of kick off when they realize does
he have like an Iron Chef coat?
Yeah, he doesn't stand on the pillar and spin around, and he doesn't have to fight for different cuisines of China, Japan, and French, right?
The poor Chinese Iron Chef.
That poor guy was sweating buckets in the old. I love, man, old Iron Chef's the best. So yes, so these two kind of kindle along with the other party members, who's another elf mage and who is maybe a hobbit ? He's not a dwarf, but he's kind of short
in that range.
Yeah, my guess would he's like the thief equivalent class, so he knows how to get through locked doors and
so
traps.
Fantasy was not like it's not a game. Like
it's a fantasy world where a lot of fantasy JRPG stuff would come in handy,
like elements. I guess.
But yeah, not necessarily. They're not like it's not a VR or they're stuck in an isekai. It's just a fantasy world, and everyone wants the One Piece, which is at the bottom of this said dungeon. And so that is So the main focus of the show is really the killing and cooking creatures of this dungeon world, and not so much I need to get to save my sister. And that's where
the problem is.
The big problem for me is like the sense of urgency is just gone out the fucking window. And the sad part is it's super easy to fix if it was just the sister goes, get out here, and warps them out of there, and you don't know what happens to her, right? So you don't know if she escaped of the dungeon, if she's walking away, did she escape the dragon?
But it tells like episode 1 like this one.
It's because the last shot you see of the sister, she is already in the mouth of the dragon. So it really is implied that she is literally being eaten, and that's the problem. Is every time they're trying to, he's like, "Oh no, my sister." It's like, "Oh, you got a whole month. It's fine. Take your time." And so they're going on slowly each level by level and cooking up a new recipe, killing another bat creature, another mole creature, like and frying it and stir frying it.
It is weird because it sounds like something you could just do like we're exploring a dungeon and I have
exactly
like they make it way complex.
There was just if it was just, hey, we're poor adventurers and we want to find the One Piece, and they bump into this guy who cooks and we cook along the way, I'm all for it. That sounds fun and interesting. But the big plot point is I gotta save my sister but like no one gives a fuck about her, including the brother. So it's just like, it's so in my back of my brain, I cannot let it go because I'm thinking like, if poor Miles is trapped in the dragon's mouth, I'm doing everything I can to get down there, right?
Not like, but
ooh, let's have.
ooh, but this orc though.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
orc,
What does this fucker taste like, right? And that's what's happening throughout this whole show. They're always like, because it's like a weird. It's on the other thing, slightly negative thing.
And then they eat every time they go. Like
there's every episode. There's a new creature, and a new recipe, and a new way to cook it. So it's like, as a person, as I talk about, I enjoy cooking shows, Iron Chef, stuff like that. So I like that kind of idea and that concept. But it killed that sense of urgency is just dead, which easily just write it out of the story. So for one, I don't know why it is the way it is. And two, the other slightly weird thing is I don't like about it. It gives me vibes of as I call the creepy vibes of something like in Made in Abyss and Oshinoko, where this guy has like this like really kind of creepy weird fetish. He's like, what does it taste like? I want to get inside that, and yeah, like it's just like a fucking psychopath killer. Like, let's see if I rip his heart out. Will it still be beating?
Is that the protagonist?
That's the main protagonist. And it's like, it's supposed to be played for comedic effect, but I'm thinking in my mind, like, why the fuck are you thinking this? They're like I said, I know what they're trying to do, but something about it makes me go, I don't like this.
Well, it's one of the things, right? It's like, it's just a story. The story, it's very
they're
hard.
They're trying too hard. But yes, it had an interesting premise. And like I said, I like the idea of, because what I liked about this show, and on a positive note, I like the fact for those, because often this is just a big fantasy allegory of being like, hey, did you realize, like, hey, that steak you enjoy, that those chicken wings you come from, that comes from a living creature, right? That you have to, sadly, you have to kill the creature, defeather it, you got to chop it up just the right way. You have to cook it a certain way or you're going to get poison from it. And so, like, those little details I do like about it because that's what happens in reality, right? That we all kind of take for granted because we just go to the restaurant, I'll have the chicken, please. And, it just shows up dead.
No, like Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen's a video game, which, like,
the magically chopped up bowls floats in the air. Well, that's an obscure reference we're pulling today, Miles. But yes, so I do like that appreciation because I think some people don't fully appreciate that, right? And also, if you're a vegetarian, do not watch this show. Well, I'll tell you that right now.
There are no vegetables involved.
Yes, there's a lot of protein involved that involves sacrificing of some living creature. So if you're squeamish towards that, stay the fuck away from this show. So yes, that's Dungeon Meshi. It's slightly disappointing, I guess is the way I would explain it at the end of the day. So yes, let's see where that ends up in my final rankings.
Ooh, I think pretty high.
Yeah, we'll see. Just as high as your Mahjong show, perhaps, Miles. So we're back to Ivan's final pick. Let me switch back to his notes real quick.
Oh, I think, was it the solo leveling, right?
Yes, indeed. Ivan's final pick for the season was Solo Leveling, which is, I think, probably the most popular, hottest new show from the season that isn't a sequel. Apparently he dived up to all 6 episodes and he's watched all of them, so that's potentially a good sign. In his notes, let me set it up for people because I did see the first 2 episodes. And I once again through Almosis and other podcasts I've heard a little bit more about the show. So in this world, another fantasy JRPG-ish stuff happening, but more of worlds are colliding.
Yeah.
So the interesting about this show is the original source material for this, I think, is a manhwa, or for those who don't know, is a Korean comic book, basically. And this is an anime adaptation of said things. And because of that, all the characters have more Korean-sounding names, which is a little bit different for those who are, not used to hearing such things. So premise, you can assume this story takes place in Korea, South Korea, ?
Yeah.
But it doesn't specify. But anyway, in this world, like 10 years ago, suddenly magical portals show up out of nowhere. And out of those magical portals show up, creatures from a fantasy JRPG world, like your goblins, your monsters, your soulless creatures that come out and attack us, normal humans in our reality, basically.
Yeah.
Lucky for humanity, though, side note, so when these demons creatures show up, your tactical, aka your nukes and your weapons have no effect on them. And but thankfully humanity has a chance of survival because apparently at the same time human beings magically, with no explanation, adapt magical fantasy powers out of a video game like situation, which are called hunters. Ha ha ha.
Mm.
And thanks to these hunters, they're able to fight against these said monsters and push them back and then close set gates.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this world, there's magical hunters that, like I said, there's no understanding of why they magically it's kind of like X-Men, like they're student mutants out of human beings, right?
Yeah.
But in this world, like I said, there are hunters, but they have different ranks, ranking, I think, from E to S tier, S being the, God tier, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is everyone joins these parties or guilds and goes into said portals. And if they go in there and defeat the boss of each portal, the monsters can't escape out of said portals. But if enough time passes, the monster, I think it's in 12 hours, it explains in the first, I forget the details. After like 10, 12 hours, the monsters then can emerge and come to our reality and run a havoc in our world. So the goal is to send in these guilds, destroy the monsters, destroy the boss, come in, come out, and save the day. And it's like this is like the job they do for the government. It's an official, like, they get paid for being hunters. But the thing is, they tell you early on, is once you're like classified as a hunter at the different class levels, like that's it. There's no, if you're an S tier, you're an S tier. If you're an E tier, you're an E tier. There's no, you can't level your way up.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. You can't, you can't work your way up like your One Punch Mans or anyone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you start is that's it for life. So what happens in this one, I'm trying to think if I can pull up the names. Jinwoo is our main protagonist here. And he is basically, as they joke on early on episode 1, he is the weakest hunter of all hunters because he's an E-class hunter. But in a weird way, they invite him to these parties, these guilds to fight in the portals because it's like he's like kind of a good luck charm because like he's so shit that he's going to get so wrecked that none of us will get wrecked. So in a weird way, everyone's like, hey, Jinwoo's here. Woo, Jinwoo, what's up, Jin? Because like he's like a good luck charm despite he's garbage, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way he's treated. He's the biggest loser among these class of warriors, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens then is the number 4, they get together in the guild, there's a portal, and they go together with a crew of probably like maybe 12 to 20-ish people and go into the dungeon and fight said monster, very something like you'd see in these power fantasies we get, like in my brain I go SAO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they defeat said monster and they're like, oh cool, we did it, we leveled up, everyone gets their little, oh right, the other song note is when they kill the boss monsters, they drop, like your JRPGs, they drop items, and particularly drop these magical, there's some kind of magical stone.
Artifacts.
Yeah, basically these artifacts. And these artifacts are magic, basically, because they can produce energy. And that's why the government supports these hunters and makes it an official job, because the government wants to figure out and do research to make this like the new...
That's not going to backfire them at all.
Yeah, exactly. The new source of energy. Exactly, perhaps. And later, I don't know, but I'm assuming probably there's going to be a problem with collecting these things. They want to use it as the new like efficient energy versus wind and solar, right? So that's the government's, to promote and program to keep everyone safe and also to make new energies out of these magical items that they don't fully understand. Always a good sign. But anyway, our party, we go in the dungeon, we defeat the monster like normal. Hey, thumbs up, every day in the life. We had a bit of a skirmish, but thanks to our healers, we survived and see another day. But it turns out in the first dungeon, there's a secret dungeon. Ooh, and people are like, ooh, so the double dungeons are true. The rumors are true.
Yeah.
And of course, they go into this secret dungeon, unlockable dungeon, and it's basically the world's biggest death trap Indiana Jones thing you could ever think about.
Sweet.
If you're a Last Crusade fan, rejoice because of some things that remind you of Last Crusade show up in that first episode or two, where you got to respect Jesus Christ and everyone else out there. If not, you're gonna pay the ultimate price.
Pelican Man may pass.
Exactly. Basically, without getting into too many spoilers, definitely that line in particular remind me of Last Crusade. I'd imagine the writer have seen Indiana Jones. So yes, anyway, so throughout basically the world's quickest death game scenario, a lot of people die, a lot of blood and guts. This thing is it's overall pretty gruesome. I would say it's like super violent, but it's violent. People lose limbs, a lot of blood.
There is blood.
People do die when people
there
when
will
people
be
are
blood.
killed. Exactly. People died when they're killed. And our main protagonist Jinwoo, through this trials and errors he's put on in this secret dungeon room, unlocks the ability to become a player/gamer. And from my understanding, this is a little past from what I saw, but what I've heard about in this show, is he now unlocks the ability to actually level up, which is unique that no one else can do in this fantasy world. And yeah, that's so basically it sure sounds like a power fantasy JRPG. Gamers fans rejoice because my understanding is he basically learns skills, abilities, and like he can see like a video game interface that no one else can see. Because as I set up this premise, it sure sounds like a video game premise, and sure, I mean, there's just too many perfect rules that make sense, right? That makes you feel like there's someone's got to be behind all this bullshit. It's not just random, right?
Yeah.
And because of this secret trial he went through, it does imply there must be some mastermind,
game master or something.
That's your D&D
so basically
dungeon master.
He's able to play a game like he's like an actual player.
Yes, and like I said, this is I'm a little bit guessing, a little bit looking at Ivan's notes. So now he actually plays it like a video game, while despite its reality and people die when they're killed, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like basically a big JRPG power fantasy / death game scenario is this show, would be my guess from what I've seen. Let's see here. For Ivan, his thing he didn't like is apparently the main protagonist has plot armor, but I mean, which anime protagonist doesn't have them? Especially in a power fantasy setting.
Kirito's, of course they're gonna have plot armor.
They definitely are, which doesn't make sense. And this is the fact, it seems like every kind of Japanese anime power fantasy, it seems like you've seen this before in concept. So it's nothing new, but if you're a fan of that genre, then it might do the trick for you. And that's basically what he says here. And he's left going, it might be good, but also he's not too confident that it will deliver when it comes to that power fantasy.
Yeah. Do you know what studio it is, per se?
Let me see.
That was IG, but maybe I'm high. I know, I think we see it.
It is A1 Pictures.
Okay, so there might be a chance.
The animation wise, I do think it does hold. It's well animated. It's not bad. Wasn't like blown by it early on, but I also saw the first 2 episodes. But there are certain things as an anime connoisseur that you can tell that it is a little bit different from your typical anime, and I'm assuming it's because, like I said, the original source material does come from Korea, and the way they do their comics is a little bit more different than Japanese style comics. So it does come off a little bit different. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but it is different.
Well, it feels different, probably.
Yeah, you could like I said, I noticed it without. To me, the giveaway was like I said, the very Korean, because like you don't hear Korean names very often in anime, right?
Yeah. And
so it kind of me curious, and sure enough, I looked up and like, oh, that explains why everyone has more Korean sounding names. But yes, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just different.
Well, it sounds unique, at least.
And yeah, it does. And I guess what I got from it, the little I've seen of it, and going also with Ivan's notes, is it does sound promising, but with power fantasies, it's a very fine ledge of this is good or
going to timer level kind of nonsense.
Yeah, so I am curious to see how it goes, because I got some vibes of certain shows I like and certain shows I didn't like. So I guess between me and Ivan, we'll have to stay tuned.
Is he the strongest?
Is Jinwoo going to be the strongest? As he ever like I said, One Punch Man his way out of these portals and demon situation, or monster, I guess just say monsters perhaps more. And we'll see what happens and see if there really is a dungeon master behind all this nonsense. Because
he alone is the honored one.
Exactly, because it is a mystery about these magical portals and that people just become hunters. And also definitely a Hunter x Hunter reference, because literally they call them hunters. In the first sequence, they're fighting giant evil ants.
There you go.
So if that's not a Hunter x Hunter reference, I don't know what the fuck is. So yes, my final show that I want to cover for my part of this season. All right, my last show is a show called Metallic
Rouge.
Yes, Rouge. I thought it was Rogue, but it's Rouge because it is the name of.
Does she fly?
The name of the main protagonist. Okay. So this is not a JRPG fantasy. It is more of a sci-fi kind of I guess Pluto. We talked about Pluto recently, and so it's got Pluto vibes, definitely. So in this sci-fi world, it takes place not in Japan, but basically another fantastical sci-fi world, where there are humans and there are androids that are called,
or cyborgs, depends when you look at it.
Well, they're not cyborg. They're not. It's not Toyama who wrote this. So thank God for this. There are basically androids, robots, if you want to, however you want to call it, not human beings, not flesh and blood. But I think they actually do bleed blood apparently certain times. So there's different degrees of, once again, I talk about Pluto. 'cause
Replicants.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say replicants too. And basically, these two are trying to coexist with each other, and guess what? It doesn't work because racial, like, oh, well, humans are better. No, robots are, just like we saw in Pluto, perhaps. No Ku Klux Klan, thankfully, just yet, but we'll get there. We're halfway there, to be honest, from the little I've seen. So the main plot is we have our android protagonist Rouge, who is set on to destroy. I think about like why this sure just sounds like bad Pluto. Spoilers. Where she is trying to destroy the 7 most advanced. I think it's 7 too. Like most advanced androids out there who are against, maybe not against humanity,
but
they're not.
They're not cool with it.
Yes, they are a potential threat. I guess I should say, right? And she's out there killing them, despite she herself is a robot. And her motivation of why she's doing it is basically, it's hinted at. And the hinted at is she's doing it for her brother, ? They don't explain the brother details just yet.
There's Dr. Omachazu?
Yeah, a little bit. Mr.
Is there Dr. Temma?
Dr. Big Nose?
Is there Dr. Temma? Is Dr. Temma over here too?
There must be a Dr. Tenma. If he doesn't, there must be. I'm putting money on there must be a Dr. Tenma reference, or
is she the long lost daughter?
Yeah,
of somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that is really the basic premise. Along her journey, so she's traveling this abandoned wasteland of a world. Oh, right, I can specify.
The world's fucked.
Yes, the world is also apocalyptic. It's kind of like Wolf's Rain and/or Ergo Proxy, if you're familiar with these animes. The Last of Us, if you're a video game person, where there's like these little city hubs of normalcy, but in between that normalcy, Trigun would also work, and then in between that's just nothing but empty desert, right? And just abandoned wasteland
or Twisted Metal.
Also Twisted Metal will work. Oh, forgot about that one, I guess maybe for next time. Good show, should check it out. Quick recommendation. But yes, and this metallic Rouge. I want to say Rogue every time. Rouge, because that's the name of her. Like I said, there's a wasteland in between this big forgotten big war between. All right, so yes, basically, so the reason why the androids existed is because there used to be these aliens that started a war with the humans, and the humans.
Doctor's Row.
There you go. And the humans made the androids to fight against the aliens, and then they won the war against the aliens? ? But then, of course, now the humans have to live with the androids, and the humans don't like the androids. And so,
well, we solved that problem. We do these guys.
So here's the, I guess, problem, or the maybe confusing. I should be a problem of the show. Is all the things I just told you is things that you, as the viewer, have to gather for yourself. It's never really just flat out told to you. You have to sit down and be patient and let the story unfold to you very slowly.
And if you're the information is to get it.
Yes, so you have to really...
Or interpretation, I guess.
Yes, you have to pay attention to the show because there's no room for error, because you have to figure out what's happening. Because a lot of it's a mystery, because in the beginning, she's working by herself. She gets her partner, who's like the smart, nerdy one, I guess, who is human, and they have to team up and work together to take down these evil, evil robots.
Lethal weapon?
Yeah, and also they turn into... I don't know, they turn into bad Ultramans, I guess, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, because they become like big CG armor people. So it reminds me...
Wait, the androids or the people?
The androids. Okay, because she becomes...
armor for her
Yes,
partner.
they all become like bad Iron Mans, maybe, I guess, if you all use that equivalent also.
Why? What? Okay.
Because that's how you know they're cool, because they fight in big CG... robot fights versus regular human looking.
Reminds me of the last Transformer movies when the run robots pretty much becomes armor for one of the human characters.
Yes, right. That was the thing that happens.
And it's like, yeah, okay.
So yes, so if you like that transformation little bit, there's a little bit of a transformation bit happening here. It's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn. It's supposed to be mysterious, but it's one of those shows where you don't know if it's going to be worth the ride until the ending.
Okay. Do you know who made it?
It is Bones. This is supposed
Okay, well, I mean, it has promise with that, because Bones does do a lot of sci-fi work here and there.
It does remind, but this is much like early Bones. This is like the first half of their portfolio of Bones.
Like a Rika 7 kind of?
It's like not Eucharist is like too colorful and cute and charming. This is more like Wolf's Rain.
Okay.
It's like
that was Bones. I guess I never know that.
Yeah, that was Bones because remember the people who worked on Wolf's Rain, the people who worked on Bebop, and people who worked on Bebop was Sunrise, and everyone left Sunrise to start Bones.
Oh, okay.
So that's how the story goes. So it reminds me of a lot of it. If I had to name two animes that clashes together, to me it's Wolf's Rain meets Ergo Proxy with a little bit of Trigun. Because the whole desert wasteland
is it very old school in a way, or like,
because just like Ergo Proxy and Wolf's Rain in particular, you have to sit down and watch the story unfold itself, and the secrets are revealed to you of what's actually happening. Because it's a lot of mysterious. You just see her perspective, and she knows nothing. You, the viewer, know nothing. And slowly but surely, she discovers the world, and you, the viewer, also discover what's making this world tick.
I guess, but also. Like character design wise, I guess they're also very old school.
Yeah, they do. I don't think it's the Bebop man, but they're trying to go more for that.
The 90s.
Yeah, like 90s aesthetic design. Definitely late 90s, early 2000s character design. It gives me more of that vibe.
So we're in. Got it.
Well, that's what made me click on the show and say I want to check this for a preview because it was Bones and it reminded me design-wise more old school anime, which is right up my alley.
Like Attack on Trains.
Yeah. That's more like 80s design, which is still good, but similar, but technically different decade. So yes, it is one of those. Just I think of with Ivan with his soul leveling is like this could either be great or fucking trash. Because it's the ending or the end of at least the first season arc is what's going to matter. And I imagine this. I'm assuming soul leveling. There's more to it. I don't know for a fact, but I feel like this show. It's one season and it's
you sure
done.
Metallic Rouge and that's it. Call it a day.
There you go. So it is. I feel like it would be a gamble to choose this show.
Okay.
But I guess stay tuned for the next segment to see if it will make the cut. Right. But it's very slow. Like I said, because Ergo Proxy is the same thing. It's like sci-fi. It deals with a lot of robots, but fucking molasses.
All right, let me help you here, brother. Well, I guess we move on to our next part, which we say, I guess we're gonna list our choices, right?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna rank them. We're gonna rank our definitely not gonna make it. And then I guess our second choices, though, I don't think will be an issue for us as we kind of change things, but just for people who let us know what our preferences were. Well, technically it would be our last choice and then our first choice. And of course, our last choice would be our middle choice.
Yeah.
Which unless there's an issue, because we used to have it on the podcast that our second choice might be a potential full review.
Yeah.
But this season and ongoing at the moment for our here on Otaku, any show is now up for grabs because we used to limit ourselves to only new shows that were ideally like 12 episodes so we could cover each season, right? But we made it simpler and open it to other people. Just so with Ivan's picks, he picked two shows that technically were the second seasons. So those are up for grabs, though of course that requires a little bit more work because that requires everyone to watch season 1 or to catch up or whatever we're at.
As long as it's not One Piece, we're fine.
Yeah, that's the rule. As long as it's not like a One Piece or Naruto situation. If it's one or two season, if it's second season, and it's not 52 episodes, something crazy, then it's possible for us to catch up. So that's what we're doing here on Otaku, and these up for grabs. But also at the same time, if people are busy and they can't sit down and watch the first season of said show, then that's also fine. Because we're all adults and a little bit more mature adults, I guess. And tends when you get older, you have less and less free time. So let everyone know that there might be a situation where we might watch the current second season, if you will, but never watch the first season. That's up to each individual if they have the time to watch said show. So that is our little rules we have here on Otaku for now. So anything is up for grabs. Just let everyone know in case they've been with us since day one. We have changed the rules a little bit here. So anything could be up for full review and anything could be up for full, or I guess for a proper preview like we've done today so far in this episode. Alrighty, I guess I should go first, Miles?
Sure, should I go first? Because he's been talking
but that's true, but I have to do, sadly, I still have to keep doing double duty. At least you and the can break.
All right, as long as you're okay with it.
All right. My poor boy, I'll hate myself tomorrow. So Ivan, I'll start with Ivan because I've been doing Ivan the name. Ivan's third place winner, I guess, and definitely is not at the moment not anything we're gonna do with it here on the podcast. Is the bottom tier whatever I want to say Nozaki every time, but it's still not Nozaki.
Yeah, Tomozaki.
Tomozaki.
Different.
did not make his cut.
No, what? No.
And basically, he just thought it seemed generic and boring. And just like me, he had concerns about the Aoi girl. Like, she's just a bad person.
Should I cheer for her? I don't think I should.
I was very surprised when she said that. Well, that's her. She, like I said, she victim blamed the girl for getting bullied, which I was like, yo, not cool, dog, not cool.
But hear me out, though. Hear me out. It's gonna be fine. Just hear me out.
Yeah, so I was a little, and also I was a little bummed. Maybe it's me reflecting too much of my personality into the show. But once again, if someone's being a big asshole to someone in the classroom and I see it, I'm gonna call him out in front of the goddamn classroom and be like, "You're a little bitch." So yes, that is Ivan's third place winner. Back to you, Miles. What is your third place winner for this season?
My third place winner is Pono Michi, because although I do enjoy the premise of said show, the character designs are kind of weird, and I don't think anyone wants to know. We're strolling around, we're skirting around the idea. Is it mahjong? Or we're just having fun at our clubhouse.
What's our real goal here?
So that's the thing. So yeah, that's the reason why it's gonna probably get a pass.
Not happening this season. At least not at this moment in time.
I'll probably keep it watching, but it's like I can't tell you.
You won't make us suffer through it.
Yeah, I won't.
Thank you, brother.
I learned that already.
I think I'm gonna thank you for that. All right, so that's my turn now. My third place winner is the Delicious in Dungeon or Dungy Meshi or whatever it's called.
For obvious reasons, we don't need to go anymore.
It's like I said in my I guess review preview. The sense of urgency just destroys it. It is Studio Trigger, but it doesn't have the wacky zaniness of the people who started the head figures of Trigger. This is a show they're doing, I think, just to pay the bills. It is real animated. Don't get me wrong. The animation's it's still good, but just that sense of urgency. My logical English major graduate brain won't allow me to let it just. It's fine. No problems here. You have a pass, sir. It destroys any illusion we have. And if I really want a cooking show, I think I'll go watch fucking Food Wars. Apparently.
Yeah, at least you go like there's some cooking involved. Minus the whole gratuitous.
At least the random etchy horniness I understand. The random, my sister is dying, I guess I won't do anything about it. But
that's food though.
Yeah, and the fact of him a little licking his lips a little too hard when it's looking at monsters is a little like, what the fuck is this guy not into? When we're opening up that door, what door are we not closing?
That's where we're at.
That's like I said, I guess I'm just old fashioned that way. Yikes. Alrighty, Miles, I think we're back to you for your I guess winner, the official winner.
For me this season, I'm going to choose an easy pick. I feel everyone can enjoy the show easily.
I am kind of curious if the other two were more interesting.
So I'm going to choose It's Time for Torture Princess.
All right, he's going for the comedy
because I think I think it's better. It's easy. There's a lot of laughs in here. You're not supposed to take it seriously. They don't take it seriously. No one's taking it seriously. But that what makes it fun. We do a lot of little fun little bits. It's well animated, and you could you can do 1 and 2 increments and it's fine.
All right. Like I said, between that one and the other weird one with all the supernatural stuff with the peeps.
No. See, Sasaki and Peeps, something I think if you want to, brother, later on we could probably do it because I think it's our level of I guess our anime level.
Tilt our otaku glasses and they turn.
Yeah, I think we could appreciate more than Forge our other code because there is a lot of stuff to handle at once.
I was bored in the anime.
But I guess spoilers. It didn't make it. Talking to.
All right. That's good. It did sound funny the way you were selling it, brother. So I'm for once I'm actually kind of looking forward to watching a Miles.
Isn't that after? Because after 1 year.
After 1 year, we've done it.
I finally
cracked the code.
I actually might have a shot at this for once.
There you go. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. Miles might actually have a chance at that crown this season.
That's where everyone else sucks. Anyway.
And so that leaves Ivan his pick for the season. And I was like, I already know what it is. I was looking at my phone. Ivan's pick this season is the very popular Solo Leveling.
Shock.
According to his notes, he felt like it was basically a gamble. But I guess he had a little bit more confidence in the unknown factor of Solo Leveling because Ivan is quite our expert when it comes to comedy, romance, anime stuff. And I guess he felt like with Danger to the Heart, it's just like, I've seen this before. I know what's going to happen here. It seemed very safe. So I think he's feeling a little bit more lucky, I guess.
All right. Gambling man over here.
He's a bit of a gambling man with Solo Leveling this season. So that's why it got the nod. and we'll get a proper full review when it ends later, or well, at least because also we changed that up to the end of the season. We will, because I don't know if it's more.
So I guess what number the last one would be with the
his second, yes, then yes, his second choice then would become the Dangers of My Heart.
I guess, Fortune Brother, I guess you have to go again.
I have to go again, and so my choice for my chosen one, my bird of my pick for the season.
Wait, I need a drum set.
Is Bucchigiri.
Oh, and what?
Speaking about the long shot throw, the pass, the Hail Mary.
What? Sorry. I need a sound bit, like something because like it's like I did not see that coming.
With the metallic Rouge.
I can't take that ride.
It's just, I was getting too many vibes.
Now the funny part is that if like say I was wrong, you're right, and you're no, you
right. Well, and that's honestly for both of us, and I could see what Ivan said because I looked a little bit at his show and I looked at both, as I saw my shows. And I feel like they're both like the Hail Mary passes. We need this touchdown. There's 2 seconds left on the clock. It's break or bust. There's no other chance. And that's the thing is, I felt like with the Bone show, I looked at the writer and I went, no. And then I looked who's writing the Bucchigiri, and like I said, they worked on this Kyoto animation. They worked on this. I felt more comfortable.
I've seen a lot of very good story.
They worked on a lot of the key adaptation stuff over.
Now I've seen now.
I feel like if he worked on these shows, he's probably more inspired by this kind of storytelling kind of stuff. I'm gonna give him the wink and the nod. Working on those shows.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah. So that's the thing. But like I said, they're both at the moment where I left off in I think literally episode 3 on both shows. I don't know where the delinquents fighting with the genies is going to end up. But it is colorful and interesting and different. And the Bone Show, once again, it gave me the bad vibes of Wolf's Rain and Ergo Proxy, which Wolf's Rain overall I like, but towards the end part it's just kind of like unsufferable. And then Ergo Proxy is another show where the beginning is great and the ending's great, but the middle is just like is also just molasses and slow and boring. And yeah, so I went for the percentage of I'm gonna bet over here with Bucchigiri, despite it's a Mappa show, and me and Mappa tend not to get along too well. I'm gonna put my money on the original show. Well, I guess they're both original shows. I guess the original show from Mappa versus Bones, which I say out loud and I'm still like, that doesn't sound right. something wrong here. I don't know this.
So it's not the 90s expired, and he chose in the Mappa show.
Yeah, I know. I went for that. Yeah.
Are you feeling well, brother?
I don't know. I have the same question.
Are you concerned? Like, are you like a gambler? You're looking at kind of like, okay, this may or may not work in my favor.
I mean, at this point, everyone, if I don't blame people arguing.
What am I fighting for?
I guess I was thinking and hoping for more big robots, but it's just Iron Man, more, once again, Ultraman, people fighting in power suits. But also, I didn't like the designs of the power suits either.
Oh, okay. I guess I gotta see them because I'll admit if it's like Ultraman or something like
that. I don't know what it is.
Or is it blocky? Or maybe
it's very blocky. Maybe I'd have to show you the designs after the podcast. But yeah, they weren't cool. And like I said, there were a lot of
and
CG.
it's Bones here, right?
Yeah.
It's CG Bone.
That's what I'm saying. When they're fighting in the suits, they become CG fights, which is not. They're okay at it, but it's not their bread and butter. They need to stick with. When I think of Bones, I think of other animation sequences. Many of them, My Hero, if you will. So yes, so that's why I guess I was too scared to give him the vote when it comes to this season. But I did ponder for a minute of what am I going to choose this season. I feel like the most we've had here on Otaku.
Yeah, it's like you're looking at the board, you're kind of it's like going sweating, like I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's I'm going for the long. Like I said, either one was the long shot, but I'm going for the one I have like 5% more confidence in.
That's funny. So we have an original. We have your shonen nonsense.
We do have power fantasy shonen
and a comedian
and a wacky comedy. But I like a wacky comedy. I like a Baka and Test.
Like I said, I mean, that's the best describe. It's a lot quick one that got, and the writing's pretty good because the timing's pretty good.
Right. The edit timing is so important in comedy. So important.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, I'm actually excited. I'm more excited than Yohane, perhaps.
I knew that was coming.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
It's never too late for a Hani joke.
You didn't see it coming. That should be on the soundboard one day.
Surprise.
Last surprise. Anyway.
There you go. That's two references, memes I should put on the soundboard.
Oh, I forgot to. Oh, that's next time. But there's something. I also played the other Honkai game now. I'm thinking about it now. But
joy.
But no.
Darn, we'll have to say it for next time on the podcast.
Oh,
maybe next time.
It's like, and that's it, folks. And
look at the one. Look at the time, folks. It's time to go.
Buzzer noise. I'm sorry. We're out of time.
All out of time. We'll have to save it for another time. Hopefully, a time that never comes or exists. So yes, I think we've done it, folks. So that is our 3 picks for the season. Once again, Miles's
It's Time for Torture, Princess.
And Ivan's Soul Leveling, and my Bucchigiri with our magical genie stands.
I realize none of us sound like...
They're not the most normal sounding and rolls off the tongue names. No, definitely not. But those are winners for the season.
Tune in next time when we will talk more shenanigans. I guess what was next?
Yes. Next episode, potentially it's not set in stone just yet, but on the books at some point soonish, hopefully we'll be having our Spy Family spoiler talk covering season 1 and 2. So if you're looking forward to that, and we have the movie we talked about. The movie's coming in April, so I'm sure we're going to cover that in April on the podcast. So make sure to like and subscribe. Keep you stay tuned. And if that doesn't, hopefully you being a fan of Final Fantasy VII will, because we also have our special panel of hosts that will be covering that come March time and probably April, since I imagine it's a pretty long game. So if you enjoyed our talks of Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom we had last year, we're basically going to do that, but for the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth game that is around the bend.
Rebirth Ultimate Revengeance.
Yes. Well,
and we'll see like 6 months from now when they have like the super whatever integrate whatever.
Yes, the super one.
As we wait, here's something here while you wait for the last part.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, the trilogy of 7 remakes, which supposedly the next game, the last game, should be a
remastered.
A hell of a doozy.
Because there's remake, rebirth.
Yes, remake, rebirth, and
reincarnation.
I am curious, as a man who once again is playing the remake and is noticing the subtle differences between
Requiem,
the PS1 and PS5 version of said game. I am curious to see how much will change in the future. So stay tuned for all that, along with our anime reviews and all the shenanigans we have here normally on the podcast with more people than us.
More time.
But that will be us. That'll be it for us this week on the podcast. And thanks so much for listening, and hopefully you'll join us next time. Until then, laters, people.